their weekend. It's a little bit rainy here, but the weather actually got a lot better. This morning it was thundering and like crazy at like 7 in the morning. But today we're going to be talking about the judge that got arrested for interfering with the immigration, harboring fugitives and stuff like that. And I'm just, protecting the illegal immigrant. Now, I know a lot of people have these big debates about immigration and stuff like that and say, oh, we should let these people come into the border illegally, come into our country without any paperwork, without any documents. They should just be able to jump the border. I mean, I really don't understand the argument because even American citizens, we can't, if we enter Mexico, we can't jump back into the United States without going through the port of entry because that's a crime. Even if you're a United States citizen, you have to go through all the legal ports of entry. You can't just jump over the border if you're an American citizen that went into Mexico. You're coming back. You have to go through the port of entry. You can't just jump over the fence. And that's for Americans. So if we have to follow that law, then how come some Democrats and some radical liberal people think that it's okay for them to do it, but American citizens can't even re-enter the country without going through the port of entry legally and without doing all the necessary things. An American citizen was arrested before for he went into Mexico the right way through the port of entry. Then he'd try to jump back into America, even though he was an American citizen. He'd try to go through the border illegally without going through the port of entry. So if Americans can't do it, then I don't understand the argument while Mexicans or people from South America or whatever country they're from should be able to enter the country illegally. Like, if anyone can make a good debate for that, I would love to discuss it with them. I really don't understand that thinking point or that policy. And some people say we shouldn't call them illegal immigrants or we shouldn't call them illegal aliens. Well, they committed a crime. What are we supposed to call them? Nice people? I mean, I'm not saying they're bad. Just because they have a label on them doesn't mean they're bad. But if I go out and commit a crime, they're going to call me a criminal if I get charged for it. And they're going to call me a criminal probably for the rest of my life. That's most people if they commit crimes and get convicted of it. This is how society works, is with labeling and names and such like that. It's nothing against them personally. It doesn't mean they're a bad person because they made a mistake or they came into the country illegally. But let me know where you guys are coming from. Happy Sunday. But I don't understand some of the Democrats thinking like that's a soft mind, like, oh, we should be sweet and nice to everybody, or maybe that's just brainwashing that they were taught. But if an American citizen commits a crime, or if an American goes to any other country illegally and enters illegally, they'll be called the same thing, an illegal immigrant. So why should we, treat these illegal aliens differently and say, oh, get rid of that labeling? I don't understand that mindset. And because like I just said, if an American citizen or anyone else commits a crime, they're going to be known as a criminal. Now that's labeling too. That's the exact same thing. That's an offensive term. But it's not okay for the Democrats to call these people illegal aliens, which they are. Whatever you want to call them, whatever you don't want to call them, but it's true. I really just don't understand why some people want to get rid of the labeling instead of calling them illegal aliens. Like, what do they want to call them? They broke the law. When a regular United States citizen or a citizen from anywhere else, they get the labeling of criminal. But for some strange reason, we shouldn't call the illegals that cross the border illegally illegal aliens. I mean, it's not like we called them any curse word or anything like offensive or anything like that. Google dancing Israels in pyramid inside Israel court. I have no clue what that is, but that's a little bit suspicious. But if anyone has anything to say about why we should just have the open border policy and let the illegal aliens into our country, then please, I love to argue this debate. I love to argue this point, but I don't see a single reason why we should let them do that. I don't see why we should get rid of the labeling either, because like I just said, if an American citizen commits a crime, they're going to be stuck with the labeling of criminal as well. So, what's the difference if we call them illegals? What else should we call them? Nice, good people for committing crime? I can't think of any legitimately good reasons why we should get rid of the labeling. What's up? I was just explaining to people, some Democrats want to get rid of the labeling. This has been for years now, years and years. Instead of calling the people that cross the border illegally, illegal aliens and illegals and whatever you want to call it, I don't know what they say, get rid of that. That we shouldn't be calling them something that offensive. We shouldn't be calling them that something that offensive. But if you go do a small crime and get caught for it, the United States government, everyone else is going to call you a criminal for the rest of your life. But for some strange reason, we shouldn't call illegal immigrants illegals. There's nothing offensive about that. It doesn't mean you're a bad person necessarily. It just means you entered illegally. You're not in the country legally. Honestly, I think it's less offensive than calling them criminals, but we could just call them criminals as well. Should we get rid of illegal aliens and just call them regular old criminals? I think calling them regular criminals might be a little bit more offensive. Then they're going to say, stop calling them criminals. Call them illegal aliens instead. That's what they would say if we started doing that. But honestly, I can't understand why the Democrats think we should have open border policy, why we should let all these illegals from South America, Mexico, wherever they're coming from, come in illegally. But as a United States citizen, if I go into Mexico and I want to come back into America, if I jump the wall, ICE, whoever is going to arrest me for entering the country illegally. Even though I'm a United States citizen, you can't jump over the border. Even if you're a legal citizen of the United States, you can't jump over the border. You'll be charged with a crime. You have to go through the legal ports of entry into any country. That's exactly why everyone has passports, because we're tracking who comes in and who goes out. Every single country in the world does this. Why would we call them innocent when they don't need to go to court? They don't need to be innocent until proven guilty for two reasons. First reason is you can easily look up if someone is a citizen. Like if the police pull you over, they scan your name, they have your full name. The local police can tell instantly if you're a United States citizen or if you came here illegally. Like it's not some kind of magic thing that, they can't figure out. We got computer systems, guys. We're not living in the 1960s anymore. They can tell if you're an American citizen or not instantly. They just gotta run your name. Hey, welcome back, Joy. He's a little bit upset that I'm speaking my mind. He joins my live every day. Every other day whenever I do it, I guess. But yeah, he's from Portugal, so he's not an American citizen. He probably tried to come in illegally. Trump probably deported him. But anyway, let's play this new video about the FBI arrests Wisconsin judge for interfering in an immigration operation. Is this Trump's fault? I have happiness. You don't have happiness because you come in my lives every single chance you get and you spread hate. You're spreading hate. I'm spreading facts. That shows that you're a very unhappy person. But hey, shout out Portugal, beautiful country.
At the very courthouse where she works. Joining us now is NBC's Tom Winter. Back with us is Timothy Williams. So Tom, what exactly happened here?
Right, so the details are still coming in, but the reporting comes from our colleague Mike Cosner at our Washington, D.C. bureau. He's reporting that Judge Hannah Duggan, who she's a Milwaukee County Circuit Judge, was arrested this morning, quote, for
hit the like and subscribe button if you're new.
Immigrant and avoiding arrest after he appeared in her courtroom last week. Apparently, and by the way, we found out about all of this because the FBI director, Kash Patel, issued a tweet that has since been deleted. We're not sure why it was deleted, announcing this arrest and announcing these charges. And he said, quote, "We believe Judge Duggan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in the courthouse, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, allowing the subject, an illegal alien, his words, to evade arrest." End quote.
Oh no,
so
don't
we're
call
still
him
trying to get the
illegal.
details as to what this individual was specifically brought into court for.
Don't call him illegal. That's offensive. How dare you call an illegal immigrant illegal? Someone that entered the country illegally. How dare you call him illegal? Just call him a criminal instead. Yeah, of course I know your flag. I've been all over the world. And I lived in Spain, so yeah. and I'm living in Europe now. So yeah, I do know your flag. But I'm a United States citizen. I spend many months of the year in the United States. And yeah.
What charges they were specifically.
Don't call them illegals, though. Don't call them
Some of the details
illegals.
of this arrest. I checked just as you were talking to our colleague Chris.
Oh, did I learn anything from living there and doing that? Yeah, I learned something. Every single country has borders. Hit the like and subscribe button if you're new here.
Wisconsin, the federal charging documents have not yet been unsealed in this particular case. That's not particularly unusual when an arrest happens, and sometimes it takes a while for that paperwork. And remember, there's a time difference as well to appear on the record. So again, still trying to get some details. The arrest was apparently made at 9:30 Eastern time this morning. This follows, by the way, Jose, some similar types of incidents throughout the country where judges have been involved in some of these ICE cases. Just yesterday, the Suffolk County District Attorney in Boston, a democratically elected district attorney, issued a report actually chastising the judge that was involved in an immigration case there, saying the judge acted improperly after the judge accused ICE and prosecutors there of basically colluding together to get somebody who was about to face trial. A jury had just been impaneled to be removed by ICE. The district attorney's office did an investigation into that and actually rebuked what the judge said. So there's definitely some pushback in law enforcement circles. And one of the things that the Suffolk County District Attorney pointed to there, which may or may not be relevant in the Milwaukee case, in this judge that was just arrested and the judge that we've been speaking about, is this idea of the supremacy clause. Basically, ICE has the authority, because they're a federal agency, to conduct these arrests, whether or not it's in a local courtroom or not. And there have been different steps and different things have been done over the years with respect to some of these arrests. And there's been a number of cases that have gone through this, even all prior to this current Trump administration. So it's definitely an issue that I think everybody thought would reach a particular point. It appears that it has this morning in the case of this Milwaukee judge. We'll just have to see what charges are ultimately brought once that docket becomes unsealed, Jose.
Well, that was interesting, but yeah, it's all Trump's fault. The judge committed a crime. The judge isn't an illegal. What's the charge worth? I don't know. That's an interesting question. Damon, welcome back, one of CNN's biggest supporters. How do you feel that Trump won the election? And they have no choice but to listen to what he does. I'm not against any news because they're all fake. But I will watch MSNBC even. I mean, if there's a good article on it. Most of it's fake bullcrap, but that was an interesting little thing they put. Remove the illegals. Let's watch the longer video about it. Okay, my question for Constitutional Andy is why should we let illegals into our country? I just want you to answer that question, Constitutional Andy. Why should we let illegals into the country? Andy, do you agree with letting illegals into the country, undocumented people? They don't have to go through any background check. They don't have to go through any checks or anything. Okay, so we do agree on it, Andy. We do agree. Even though you're a more of I'm not saying I don't know your political affiliation. Maybe you're not a Democrat, but you're definitely more left-wing than me. You're definitely more liberal than me. But even saying that you are, even though you don't like Trump, you think we shouldn't bring the immigrants in. Trump 2032. Oh, Trump is going to be president for life until he dies, unfortunately. For you guys, at least, but I like it. Block the borders. Every country in the world has borders. I don't know about being a constitutionalist, Andy. What about the Second Amendment? Do you believe in the Second Amendment rights? Do you think they're being infringed on? Shout out Canada. Hit the like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Shout out Portugal. Shout out Canada. Absolutely, Green Gordon. Even though I think you're a radical leftist or more of on the liberal side, I agree with you. But I don't think criminals and people with felony records should be let into the United States. Just like the UK and other countries like that don't let people in with a felony record. You guys will be okay. Trump is back 100%. Elbows up, Canada. Green Gordon, are you from Canada too?
We have a follow-up to a bizarre story we first brought you last night. A now former judge in New Mexico has been taken into custody over allegations.
All aren't welcomed here legally unless they have a criminal background, if they kidnapped people, if they murdered people. I don't believe they should be let into the United States. We're talking about the right to bear arms, Damon. Can we agree on some common ground for once? Spam the comments if anyone believes that should we have open or closed borders? Let's start with that. Spam open, spam closed. If anyone wants open borders in the USA to let anybody in undocumented with no background check, spam open borders, because I want to have a debate with somebody that believes anybody with no background check, nothing should be allowed into the United States without even letting people in. I agree. You need Trump as a backbone in Australia, Ricky. Yes, there's murderers and rapists in the United States. Those are people that were born there. And I kind of agree with Trump, even though this is probably unconstitutional. You guys are going to kill me for saying it. But I think the worst of the worst criminals really should be sent to El Salvador. Especially, it's a lot more affordable to send them there. I read one time to keep prisoners in the United States prison system, it's like $30,000 or $50,000 a year. Which is kind of hard to believe, honestly, but who knows if that's true. Free documented travel. We're not talking about travel, we're talking about immigration. We already have free documented travel. I'm from Scotland, UK, and I'd keep them out. 100% I agree. These judges think they're above the law. Andy can't focus. We have prisoners here. Do it the right way and stop pushing the problem off. What do you mean? What about their families, wives, children, etc.? El Chapo had children too. He had a wife. He still went to prison. It makes no difference. People that commit crimes just because they have children and wives, there's plenty of murderers that had children and wives. What's the difference? I'm not acting liberal. I haven't said anything liberal. They should come here legally, period. Nobody is separating families. They are more than welcome to leave with their loved ones once they have been deported. Exactly. Most of them don't want to leave with their loved ones. Why can't the rest of Americans be happy that someone is fighting for their country like this guy? Well, that's a great question, Ricky, and I guarantee you more Americans would be happy about Trump if it wasn't for the radical, brainwashing news networks. Now, I'm not just saying CNN, even though they're the main culprit, or MSNBC. I'm not just saying those two ones. Even Fox News has brainwashing. Every single news station has some brainwashing. That's why you need to get your news sources from multiple sources nowadays. You can't believe anything you see on TV anymore. It's all fake. Most of it. It's about Satanist versus common sense. Destruction versus building. Absolutely. I really believe we're on a what's the word for it? We're really on a global fight right now. Globalists versus nationalists, good versus evil, Satanists versus heroes. Calvin, good point. As a Wisconsin resident born and raised here, we have a huge issue with growing illegal immigrants and judges who do nothing to actually help their residents. I'm glad something is finally being done. Great point. Hope you liked and subscribed. Seem like a smart guy. He's not fighting for our country. Yes, he is. We lost $6 trillion over the last 3 months, and this BS we are worried about. Well, I don't know why you say we lost $6 trillion like that came out of your pocket. If anything, you should be looking at the stock market as a good opportunity right now. The stock market only goes down, sorry, 30% every 5 or so years. And it doesn't matter about the president. The stock market historically always has dips and recessions. Do you even know what fascism is, LV? Where the Mayflower immigrants documented with the natives that were settled. Well, that was before even the beginning of the Constitution, first off. Those were colonizers, my friend, on new land. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. Spiritual fight. Absolutely. Spiritual fight. Yeah, globalists versus nationalists, too. Drama class versus jocks. What do you mean, what's the solution to what? We're going to close this borders. We're going to fix America. The solution is Trump. Markets fluctuate. Thank you. And smart investors buy in when the market fluctuates. The stupid ones panic and sell. There's always two sides. The people that panic and sell lose money. The people that buy the dip always make money. I think the key is to promote nationalisms for all nations, for all people. Then we can get ours. Absolutely, I believe in promoting nationalism, but we've been psyoped by the mainstream media. We've been psyoped to think nationalism means racism or that nationalism means something bad. That's the giant psyop, is anti-nationalism. And I hate to talk about the EU. I mean, I'm in Europe. Luckily, I'm not in the EU country, but I think the biggest psyop of the EU is going against nationalism. They want to put all these European people in one category. Instead of the Portuguese being the Portuguese, instead of the Spanish being the Spanish, instead of the French being the French, they want to group them all together under Europeans, under the EU. And they want to tell you that nationalism is bad and that we should accept immigrants, even if they're illegals, even if they're criminals. But luckily, I'm not in an EU member nation. And I'm an American citizen. Like I said, I spend a lot of time in America, so of course I want the best for it. Originally from Florida, Southwest Florida. Elon can't run for president, but that's a funny joke. African American Elon Musk 2028. I would love that, but it's not going to happen. Hit the like and subscribe button if you guys are new here. I got a TikTok as well. I'm really posting stuff on there to piss people off. I'm talking about, certain immigration situations. I'm on X as well. Everyone go follow me on X. It's Your Own Travel. I post a lot about Tesla, Elon. I'm going to post some more political stuff soon. I post a little bit of political stuff there right now. Well, if you think Trump's tariff stock manipulation is manipulation, then why wouldn't you buy in? He publicly tweeted on his Truth Social that you should be buying in the market. And what did he do? Literally, like 5 hours later, he paused the tariffs and put a flat rate tariff of 10%. So he literally told you. He didn't just tell his rich buddies. He posted it on Truth Social to buy in the stock market. And you guys still didn't do anything but complain and panic. Honestly, Andy, that's really horrible that you say Trump is no longer Christian, because compare him to Biden. He's done the most prayers, he's done the most Christian events. And even if you don't like Trump, Andy, Joe Biden was pushing a transgender Easter the last couple Easters. Now that's something to really be upset about. I'm not saying anything's wrong with transgenderism or whatever. I mean, I don't really like it at all, but freedom of choice, yada yada yada. But Easter has nothing to do with transgenderism. That's just not right to push that with Easter. Anyway, I kind of want to get into this video. I'll read a couple more comments. Nobody, I have a U.S. passport. I will travel anywhere I want. And you will stay in one place because, you hate Trump, but you can't escape him, which is really sad. 99% of the Democrats that say that Trump is Hitler, that he's a fascist, that he's yada yada yada, that he's going to deport them being U.S. citizens. He's going to put them U.S. citizens in cages and deport them. All of these people say all these fear tactics, but none of them actually leave the country. I mean, I get people have jobs in places that they can't leave, and they have family and stuff that they can't leave or they don't want to leave. No, I'm not in England. But that was a good guess. I guess they left the EU. But the country I'm in has never been a part of the EU. No offense to my English brothers or people in Scotland or wherever, but I think the UK is a failed nation state. I would never live there. I lived in Spain, which is kind of not the best either, but Yeah, see, here's another psyop. This guy says this guy knows no history, German nationalist, which of course he's referring to the Nazi party. Yes, the Nazis were nationalists, yada, yada, yada. That's the psyop. That's what I'm telling you. They psyop you guys to hate your own culture, not put your culture first, not put your country first. They're psyoping you to not believe in nationalism anymore. Don't compare nationalism to the Nazis. I don't worship any false idols. I don't worship Trump. I only worship Jesus. But this man, Onks Orion, however you say his name, got proven wrong yesterday. He said that Australia didn't have any tariffs on the United States, which they did. And even when I read it off to him, he didn't believe it. Monsieur, you weren't listening to anything I was saying. Each European nation has their own history. Yeah, I agree. They just have free trade. You don't know anything about the EU. You probably don't live in Europe, so. All right, there's a million comments. I'm not going to get to all of them at this moment. God bless America. God bless it. Well, Max, I made a whole video about it. I'm already in Montenegro. I'm not moving to Montenegro. And Montenegro is a beautiful, free country. Well, everyone has the right to live wherever they want, Matthew. I'm at least proud that you're a proud American and you love your country. I'm at least happy for that. If you want to hate Europe, that's fine with me. You have your own rights to say what you want to say. Every nation has the right to be proud, absolutely. Max, to answer your question, it depends what city in Montenegro. And it depends how you want to live. You can live cheaply in the United States and you can live cheaply here. But if you're asking which one is more affordable, then yeah, Eastern Europe is cheaper than the United States. You're correct. But that's not the main reason I moved here. Yes, Max, I love it. It's a beautiful country. It's a beautiful place. Here, I'll show you guys some of the views. At the moment, it's a little bit rainy. And there's some construction going outside, but since you guys are interested in Montenegro, I'll show you. So yeah, it's a very beautiful country. That was actually out my window, but I have this balcony too. But yeah, it's a beautiful country, beautiful people, a lot of benefits of living here. But maybe I should make an entire separate video on that because I'm not going to talk about all of it right now. And it's a true Christian country. A lot of places like Spain and America say that they're so Christian. Well, I don't really think so, honestly. But America's getting better with their Christianity. Absolutely. Wherever you live, you should be nationalistic towards your country or towards where you live, even. Even if you're not born there, you can still be nationalist about your country, which I guess you wouldn't fully understand. It is a free country. It's a free country and it's a Christian country. It can't be both. Are you a Satanist or something? Thank you, Max. Much appreciated. Yee for president. Okay, I'm going to get back to this video because a lot of you probably want to see what's happened with the judge. But hit the like and subscribe button.
Violent international gang to stay in his home. Also,
Tom, you're wrong. It can be a Christian country and it can be a free country. Every country has their things you can't do and laws. A good country has a good set of rules of laws.
another jurist in big trouble.
The judge had their license revoked, I believe. Well, that just shows you guys, all you guys are Satanists. You don't believe a Christian country can be free. That's sad. Thank you, Kevin.
Has the latest from our Western.
You have freedom of religion here. And you have freedom of speech. I'm not a Trump fanboy, but I think that man is a genius billionaire.
Coast Bureau tonight. Good evening, Jonathan.
Good evening, Brett. We'll start with that second jurist, Milwaukee County.
Well, science doesn't prove atheism either. Until science disproves God, I think there'll still be religion, and science can never do that. Also, one of the great Harvard mathematicians actually said that math proves God, but this is a whole nother debate. Everyone can have their own religion. If they don't like God or if they're a Satanist, whatever, you do that on your own time. I'll ignore you.
Court Judge Anna Dugan, who was arrested by the FBI this morning and within hours was making her first court appearance, charged with concealing an illegal immigrant and
hit the like and subscribe button if you guys are new here.
No justice, no peace. Let the judge be released.
Protesters gathered outside the Milwaukee County Courthouse today, shortly after the arrest of Circuit Court Judge Dugan, who is accused of helping.
Thank you, Coffin.
Ruiz avoid arrest by ICE officers at that courthouse. The criminal complaint against Dugan says, quote, despite having been advised of the administrative warrant for the arrest of Flores Ruiz,
hit the like and subscribe button if you guys are new. Hold on, let me turn up the volume.
Out of the courtroom through the jury door, which leads to a non-public area of the courthouse.
We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. You cannot obstruct a criminal case, and really, shame on her. It was a domestic violence case.
Milwaukee's Democrat mayor is furious at the Trump administration's action in arresting a judge at the courthouse.
These actions right now run completely counterclockwise to
all
what he's
Trump's
trying to
fault.
do, what he thinks he's trying to do, which is make a safer America.
In New Mexico, another judge appeared in federal court today after being arrested Thursday and charged with tampering with evidence in the investigation of his alleged harboring of an illegal immigrant. Joel Cano resigned in March from his position as a county magistrate judge based in Las Cruces, New Mexico, after federal agents raided his home and took into custody Christian Ortega Lopez, allegedly a member of Tren de Aragua, as well as 2 Venezuelan men, all of whom had been staying in a guest house on Cano's property. Cano claims he saw no signs of gang membership and wrote in a letter to the...
Hey, I will give it to this man. At least he's standing by his democratic values, because the Democrats say these guys aren't in gangs, and they say that we should welcome in illegals. This guy was actually doing exactly what he believed in, which I'll give him a little bit of respect for that. He did break the law. He is probably, not a very good guy, the judge, but hey, at least he stuck by his values. Unlike most of these Democrats that support illegal immigration would never in a million years house these Democrats in their own house like this guy did. Like, this guy put a gang member in his house. He's like, oh, he's a bunch of gang tattoos, and I'm letting him have some of my guns and hold them and play with them. He's not a gang member. He's a good man. At least he stood by his values. I'll give him respect with this one. Like, I give this man for a Democrat, he's a high-ranking Democrat. This man could be like the next president of the Democratic Party. Hey, Max. I don't believe anything this guy did was right, but hey, Michael. But I will say, like, he really stood by his values. I respect anyone that really stands by their values. People that just say stuff and don't stand by it, I really don't. Crocodile Gang, God bless. I'm not being a sheep. I literally just said I respected this man for housing gang members and sticking by his values. Even though I don't really like what he did, it's horrible. But hey, hello God, I'm a Trump supporter, yeah. I'm a Trump cult member. Whatever you want to call me. Did I flee my country? Yeah, I fled it during Joe Biden's presidency. Now I'm going to move back full time. All my Trump supporters, hit the like and subscribe button. Even if you're not a Trump supporter, we can agree on some common ground. A lot of Democrats don't believe in open border policy. Even if they hate Trump, they don't believe we should have an open border. If anyone does have a good argument for open border policy, please drop a comment down below and let me know why you believe in open border policy. The first Jewish president. Okay, that's a little bit funny. Well, it's not that I respect it, but I don't think it's a good thing he did. Like, he's a bad person for doing all that, but I respect him for standing on his moral principles. Let me put it that way. If you have principles, you should stand on them. And most people nowadays don't stand on their principles. I think what he did was horrible. Obviously, it was a crime. It was not a good idea for letting a gang member live in your house. But I respect him for standing in what he believes in. But like I said, it wasn't a good idea. Yeah, I got deported to Montenegro, Pedro. Something like that, Max. Maybe I already have one. Who knows? Max, where are you from? I'm interested. No, Trump is going to run in 2028, and he's going to win. That's funny. You're getting deported, Pedro. It's sickening what Biden did to this country. God forbid Harris. 100% agree. What's up, Patriot Dad? We're just talking about the judge that was housing the immigrants. What kind of question is that? Why am I in an empty room? What should it have in it? The room isn't completely empty. Vance 2028. I didn't read what you said previously, honestly, Sam, but I'm sure we can find common ground. Sam, do you believe in open border policy? Do you think we should let all these immigrants in with no documentation of who they are or what crimes they might have committed, possibly? Shout out California, Max. Thank you for being a conservative in a really tough state. Hopefully Gavin Newsom doesn't run for president. Well, Pedro, you shouldn't have broke the law, my friend. Like, that was the funniest comment, the strangest comment I ever got. Like, oh, like, why are you in an empty room? I mean, I guess you got a point. I could put a poster or something back there, or I could put some paintings, but I already have some paintings and stuff right now. Jingleberries, I didn't see what you commented. Sure, I can answer your comments, but do you believe in open border policy? Democrats bring them here to census, redistrict, and make votes. 100%. Harris wants to run for California governor. I might have to move. That's hilarious, but I really don't want to offend you too much. You seem like a good guy, but I would honestly argue. Actually, no. Newsom, I don't know who would be worse, Newsom or Harris. Newsom's pretty bad, though. Buddy, nothing about this room is padded. People are watching me because I'm a good entertainer and I love talking to the comments and stuff like that. I love talking to everyone on here. There's a lot of good people in here and there's a lot of trolls at the same time, but hit the like and subscribe button. This is a political debates channel. This is political news and stuff like that. Also travel channel. I told you a million times, Jingleberry, ask your questions. Obama would never win. He tried to push Harris, and he failed at that. Depends how stupid or trolly your comment is. F Joe B. F Joe Biden. Oh, you want to hear some Diddy news? Well, some funny things about Diddy is that he just denied his what is it called? He got sent a plea deal. He denied his plea deal, and now they're using the video of him hurting Cassie in his court case. Well, someone asked the question about it, Sam. Obviously, all Dems love Diddy because I don't like Dems. Sam, I didn't read your other 3 comments. Do you see how many comments are coming in every second? Sam's question says, do you believe in life-saving Medicare being easily available for all legal citizens or not? Absolutely, I believe in medical care being available for all legal citizens and stuff. But you also got to understand that America is a hyper-capitalist society. But America does its best to provide... I don't read all comments because some of them are stupid. But yes, you have to understand America is a hyper-capitalist society. We have Medicare, we have the Affordable Care Act, which is a disaster, but we have things that are meant to help people with medical care costs. But unfortunately, living in a hyper-capitalist society like America, you're not really going to be able to get all the medical treatments always without money. It's a sad situation, but this is another debate. But yes, I agree with what you said. Everyone should have access to life-saving medical care. Some Republicans have great policies and so do some Democrats. Accept this. I do accept this. I never said I was against. I'm kind of in the middle. Even though a lot of people say I'm more conservative or Republican, I do believe in a lot of liberal, democratic, quote unquote, ideas. I think, college should be free. I think that healthcare should be free. But if I'm going to be realistic here, those things will probably never happen in America. Thank you for subscribing. you don't always have to have money for healthcare, but if you're the middle class in America, I think that you get hurt the most when it comes to healthcare, because if you're middle class in America, you don't get, like, normally you don't get free healthcare and you don't get free stuff like that. But if you're really poor and you don't work, you get like Affordable Care Act and you get, more free stuff. But if you just make enough money in America to get by, you pretty much don't get anything for free, which is sad to say. Why are you living like Edward Snowden? Because I'm leaking all the government United States secrets about the FBI and about the globalism and how the Democrats are funding the news networks to try to push the media. I'm saying too much, so I gotta hide out a little bit. No, I'm not living like Edward Snowden at all. Like I said multiple times, I go back to the United States multiple times a year, so obviously, I'm not living like Snowden. And I'm not on the run, considering I enter back many times into the country. Well, Sam, I understand that too. I had a single mother growing up. She worked 2 jobs, but she didn't really make, a lot of money. But at the same time, we didn't get free healthcare. So that's kind of what I was talking about when I say the lower middle class get nothing for free, and it's only the people that don't work. But maybe things were different. You're obviously a lot older than me, so I mean, I think you're older than me. I can kind of see your profile picture. Yes, I work for the FBI. Flower power. In the EU, the poorest of the poor have free healthcare, high standards. Absolutely. I agree with that. You're in Europe? Yeah, I'm in Europe. But I'm a United States citizen, so I think I have the rights to talk about the politics, and I visit all the time. I have the U.S. passport. Pedro said my mother sold me for a cigarillo. I think that's pretty funny, honestly. I'm the same age as you. Talk about Russia. Well, I'm going to say something controversial about Russia. I think we should have a better relationship with them, and I think we should partner with them. Even though I hate what they're doing to Ukrainian people, and they're killing so many people with this dumb war, and I think they should stop. It's really stupid. But if they could stop the war and work on economic partnerships, I think they could make a good ally to us. Honestly, I think we should ally with a lot of our quote-unquote enemies to better technology and better the world. But that's a really controversial opinion, obviously. Who the hell is Jimmy Rods? Are you Slavic? Very interesting question. My great grandpa is in family from, like, my great grandparents are from Russia, Ukraine, and stuff like that. Russian and Ukrainian. Depends on how you make the borders. But my family came to America like 3 generations ago, or however many generations ago my great grandparents would be. They came to New York, escaping the 1800s, I believe, the Russian Revolution. They were being persecuted back then. So yeah, I guess I am Slavic, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure if that would be considered it, but what makes me quote unquote seem uneducated? I think that's a very thing that Democrats say when they don't agree with you. I don't read a lot of one-sided political material. I like listening to both sides, unlike you, which you don't seem like you really want to hear me out or listen to what I gotta say. Same here with my great-grandparents being Russian Ukrainian. Very interesting, very interesting. I don't know who Rob Jeremy is. What propaganda am I eating up? You still haven't given it any examples yet. I was telling you firsthand experiences dealing with the healthcare system. And I told you I have some more liberal beliefs, like I believe in free healthcare and free education. I don't know what I'm saying to upset you so much, but it seems like you're being more upset than anything else. Because you're not making any valid points anymore. Hey, appreciate you, Max. Exactly, here we go. Exactly, my point proven, Sam. Only because I support Donald Trump, you don't like me and I'm quote unquote uneducated. That's all what Democrats say. They're programmed by the mainstream media to spread hate and say these words, and they're told what to do by the mainstream media. They don't even realize they're being told what to do. They're being told to protest, they're being told to spread hate, they're being told to attack Trump supporters and rip their hats off. I mean, they're being programmed. You don't even realize it, Sam. You're not listening to much of the conservative side at all. No, I'm not lost on what you're saying. You just don't believe. I don't believe everything Trump says, but I believe he was the best politician for the job. Anyway, I'm going to get back to this video. It was nice debating with you for a second.
New Mexico Judicial Standards Commission, quote, I cannot help but feel that the capture of these boys is just another unfortunate addition to the current nationwide...
One last thing, I'm not making generalizations about Dems, I'm just saying exactly what I've seen, time after time. They'll call you names when they disagree with your support for Trump. They're not making any valid points on policies or anything like that. It's all because you like Trump, that you're uneducated and that you're dumb. But really, they're being brainwashed, which is hilarious and entertaining to me. I'm just telling you my first-hand experiences with them. They're not all like this, but the majority of them are, unfortunately. But hit the like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Let's get back to the topic.
To apprehend, detain, and deport anyone not born in the U.S.
I'm from Florida, Max.
Attorney General Pam Bondi also said today she believes that the judges in these cases are, quote, deranged and consider themselves above the law. And the AG said the arrests should send a message that the Trump administration will to act not just against illegal immigrants, but also against the judges the White House and DOJ feel are protecting those illegal immigrants. Brett?
Jonathan. But first, a Wisconsin judge under arrest and facing charges accused of flouting federal law to help an illegal immigrant. Federal prosecutors say Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan allegedly helped that migrant avoid arrest by ICE officers at the courthouse. It's a bizarre case and it's still unfolding. Hello, I'm John Roberts in Washington. Sandra, good to see you back again.
All right, and good to be back with you as well, John. I'm Sandra Smith in New York, and this is America Reports. So today's arrest of a judge marks the second such case in the last 24 hours. A former New Mexico judge and his wife were taken into custody yesterday. Federal agents arresting them for harboring a suspected Tren de Aragua gang member in their guest house.
For more on all of this, we are honored to have in the new U.S. Attorney General, Pam Bondi. It's good to talk to you, Pam.
Good to talk to you.
So let me read a little bit from the criminal complaint here. And Judge Dugan says, despite having been advised of the administrative warrant for the arrest of Flores Ruiz, Judge Dugan then escorted Flores Ruiz and his counsel out of the courtroom through the jury door, which leads to a non-public area of the courthouse. A foot chase ensued. The agents pursued Flores Ruiz for the entire length of the courthouse and ultimately apprehended him. According to this complaint, Judge Dugan was visibly angry that ICE was there to arrest Flores Ruiz, even tried to kick the deportation agents out of the courthouse.
Yeah, and to set the stage for you and Sandra, this was truly horrific. This guy was in court being prosecuted by a state prosecutor for domestic violence battery. He had beat up two people, a guy and a girl, hit the guy 30 times, knocked him to the ground, choked him, beat up a woman so badly they both had to go to the hospital. And John, you know, it's so rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out, she goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom, you're not going to believe this, takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out of private exit and tells them to leave. While a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
You know, Madam Attorney General, great to have you here, and thanks for coming back on America Report. So we remember these words of Tom Homan, the border czar. This was March 17th, and his message on these judges who apparently are trying to get in the way of this administration's efforts.
I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
So when you see these judges trying to obstruct your efforts to make this country safer, what is your message to them?
We are going to prosecute you, and we are prosecuting you. I found out about this the day it happened. We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. We looked into the facts in great depth. That's her picture up on the screen. Hannah Dugan, who is now in custody. You cannot obstruct a criminal case, and really, shame on her. It was a domestic violence case of all cases, and she's protecting a criminal defendant over victims of crime.
We've actually just had an initial appearance in court. There's also this other case coming out of New Mexico. Judge Joel Cano and his wife were arrested for harboring a TDA member at their home. The alleged TDA member had been picked up by law enforcement, and now he and his wife were picked up and arrested. And you say that you believe, as the Attorney General, that the person that they were having living at their home was a truly...
Hit the like and subscribe button if you're new here.
That's the judge up on the screen now who got arrested. Yeah, his name is Ortega. He is a known TDA member. So he comes through Eagle Pass December 2023. He's living in our country. January 2025, ICE, they get a tip. Tom Homan's done a great job. Our FBI did a great job on this case too. They get a tip that he is living with a judge and the judge's wife. So they have him arrested first on immigration charges. A Judge Damian Martinez releases him, saying that Judge Cano has a good BS meter and wouldn't let just anyone live on his property.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the associations with this violent Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, and this person that they harbored in their home, he was showing signs through clothing, we were told, tattoos. There was evidence through voice messages and text messages of his association to TDA. So what charges will Cano and his wife face, if any?
So Judge Cano, soon to be former Judge Cano, got his charges were just unsealed. He's charged with obstruction. He admitted post Miranda. He took one of the TDA members' cell phones himself, took it, beat it with a hammer, destroyed it, and then walked the pieces to a city dumpster to dispose of it to protect him. The wife also is charged with destroying evidence. Sandra, not only that, this TDA member, and he had on a necklace that said kill, something about death. He had tattoos all over him. He also had on his cell phone pictures of two decapitated victims, decapitated, gruesome photos. And he was
he's not a gang member, just like the Democrats say. He's not a gang member. He's not a murderer. Those are lies.
You shouldn't be texting these photos out. Not only that, these two, the judge and his wife, gave him a
according to the Democrats, it's lies.
That's what they're charged with.
As usual.
He goes to a shooting range with these assault rifles, with a suppressor, with other known TDA members, and they're shooting. This is the last person that we want in our country, nor will we ever tolerate a judge or anyone else harboring them.
Let me, if I could, Madam Attorney General, come back to the Wisconsin case and Judge Hannah Dugan, because
this guy had a picture of dead corpses on his phone. Decapitated. I'm pretty sure that the Democrats were gonna say, "Oh, nah, he's a good guy. He's innocent. He's innocent." Yeah, of course they're lying. He's a good man. He didn't kill anybody. He's not a gang member. He's a good man. That's what all the Democrats are gonna say. I already know it. I agree, Salty. These judges need to be put in prison for a long time. Reading through some of the comments, nothing too good. Y'all notice it's all I love political disclosure. We love you, Pam Bondi. Hillary lost. I didn't see what you said, Sam. And it's nothing about because you said something bad about Trump, Sam. It's because you just call people names and don't have any political arguments or policies you want to talk about. You're not a very civil or intellectual person to have a conversation with. Yes, Jingleberries, I'd love to debate you if you had if you're pro open borders, sure. And I think I read all the comments except the new ones. Judge broke the law. I agree. I think the Democrats are destroying their party so badly right now that they have no chance of even winning the election in 3 years and 8 months. Why do you believe in open borders? I already said a million things. You can't just say I'm pro open borders, now debate. Tell us why. Why do you believe in open borders? Anyway, I'm going to get back to the video. I don't believe in open borders. I believed in closed borders. No more open borders. Judges should be arrested when they commit crimes. They listed the list of crimes he committed already. The judges broke the law. Thank you. That guy is just a troll.
In allegedly letting the perpetrator and the attorney out through a non-public exit and allowed them to get out in front of the building. We had a situation where we've seen that I know Tom Homan was complaining about in Colorado, where there would be no transfer of a defendant from a jail to ICE custody.
Our great president, thank you.
In a way that was orderly and protected public safety. They would dump them off in a parking lot, and then ICE would have to chase them around with the DEA or whatever.
Yeah, I moved to Montenegro as a legal citizen. I believe in closed borders, as in, you come into the country legally, not as in, no one can get into the country. That's not what I mean at all. I'm a legal immigrant. And yeah, Montenegro has, quote-unquote, closed borders for illegal immigrants. They can't just cross the borders, Closed borders as build the wall, build the wall, that's what we mean. It's not just open for anyone to walk across, but obviously you don't know what closed borders means.
Or FBI and pick them up. This ended up in a foot chase in public sight. It says here a foot chase ensued. The agents, and this was a DEA agent and FBI agent, pursued Flores Ruiz for the entire length of the courthouse, ultimately apprehended him near the intersection of West State Street and 10th Street. So The judge apparently has
Hit the
created
like
a
and subscribe
situation
button though if you're new to the
where you have
channel.
a public foot chase, and we all know that while sometimes they can come off without incident, they can also turn into very dangerous situations.
It's affordable, but it depends how you live. Look up the cost of living.
Law enforcement officers at risk.
I can make a whole video about it too if you
Citizens
want.
at risk. A street chase, which is absurd that had to happen. But yes, she put a lot of people in danger. That judge did it. So did the other judge. Judge Cano is charged with. They were allegedly giving him assault rifles, AK-47s, AR-15s, with a suppressor, a known TDA member.
Nice.
Go to a shooting range to refine and perfect his shooting skills. What's happened to our judiciary?
I'm an American citizen,
Yes,
buddy.
when the
I'll be
American
back in
public
America
hears this, they
soon.
think these were once upstanding people in their communities and their professions.
Buddy,
And
I'm
put
an
it all on the
American.
line.
I can talk about American politics all I want. Just because I'm traveling around the world and you're sitting at home, you can go cry about it, but I'm still an American citizen. It doesn't change anything. So go ahead and cry about it more you want. Hit the like and subscribe button though if you're new to the channel. I'm sorry, Charlotte, and I'm sorry, Sweetie Pie, that you're upset that Trump is your president, but you got another 3 years and 8 months to go. I'm doing whatever I want to do. I'm not a slave to the system. And I'm doing business and other stuff. It's none of your business what I'm doing.
For this, have you dug into their motive? Like, what inspired them to carry out these acts and harbor criminals?
They're deranged is all I can think of.
Sweetie Pie, if that's a threat of violence, go ahead and drop your threat of violence against Trump if that's what you're trying to say. Go ahead, I dare you. Drop it in the comments. I double dog dare you. Triple dog dare you. They already tried to kill that man Trump and they failed once. They failed more than once. They failed 3, 4, 5 times. They can't get him. If you think he's going to be affected by old age, look at Biden. Biden is 1,000,000 times older than Trump, and he's still living. He fell down the plane stairs going up into the jet. Hit the like and subscribe button, though, if you guys are new.
I cannot believe, I think some of these judges think they are beyond and above the law, and they are not. And we're sending a very strong
I love
message
Donald J.
today.
Trump.
If
He's
you
doing
are
what he's
harboring a
elected to
fugitive,
do.
We don't care who you are. If you are helping hide one, if you are giving a TDA member guns, anyone who is illegally in this country, we will come after you.
Go check out my
prosecute you.
TikTok,
We will
libs.
find
You're
you.
going to get really pissed off then.
Very
You're in travel on TikTok. You'll lose your fucking mind if you see my TikTok.
In terribly bad behavior and deserve to be arrested. But you know what critics will say? They'll say, "Oh, this is
Euro and
the
travel on
government
X.
expanding, the powers of the Article 1 of the Constitution. Now they're arresting judges." How do you respond to that?
No one is above the law, John. No one is above the law in this country. And if you are destroying evidence, if you are obstructing justice, when you have victims sitting in a courtroom of domestic violence and you're escorting a criminal defendant out a back door, it will not be tolerated, and it is a crime in the United States of America. Doesn't matter who you are, you're going to be prosecuted.
Madam Attorney General, great to see you in the studio.
Great to see you.
Appreciate
Okay, thank
your
you
time.
very much. Appreciate that.
But tonight, we want to go back to this stunning story that is unfolding live, and we're getting more information on this judge.
I'm out here killing all the woke mind
By the
virus.
FBI today.
Trump
Because they say
2028.
She tried to help a domestic violence suspect.
All the Democrats can do is call people names and liars. They can't defend against our great policies and our conservative values. All they can do is name call and cry and call people liars. Hit the like and subscribe button. They're brainwashed. We're destroying the woke mind virus day by day.
Also, a former judge and his wife were arrested in New Mexico. They were accused of letting a suspected Tren de Aragua member live in their guest house after he did some work on their home. So with that, we bring in another sort of perspective on this story. We've talked the legal side of it, some of the political side, but let's bring in
Hit the like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Trump.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection and former acting ICE director. So, Ron, you have a background as an agent for ICE. If you went into this courtroom because you understood that this person was going to be in the building and this is someone that you're looking for, how would all of this have played out in your mind? And how shocked would you be if the judge let this person out the side door?
Well, this is an activity that the agents engage in, right? They make a plan. Maybe they do some surveillance. They're aware of the court
They're
docket.
deporting
They
all these
probably
gang
know
members, and the
that-
Democrats
that
are
some
mad
judges
about
or maybe
deporting
defense
violent
attorneys,
gang members and
other people in the
arresting them.
courtroom would be resistant to their presence. But I don't think you could imagine that the actual judge in the trial would do things like this, let the guy out the back door. She's a judge. She's supposed to be a leader, a pillar in the community, somebody that the
Democrats
constituency there in
refuse
Milwaukee
to,
goes as a trier of fact, right? She's
clap
supposed to
for
be
a kid with
above,
cancer
her
because,
standard
he
for
supported
law
Trump.
enforcement should be above,
Pathetic.
like the normal person. But no, these agents show up and she berates them while she's letting this guy out the back door. So now she's going to go down infamously in history as someone who skirted the law and thought she was above the law. This is a crime. The FBI is going to charge her for lying to federal agents.
Just like
They
Elon
charge her
Musk,
for
I'm out
being
here
a gang
killing the woke
criminal,
mind
illegal
virus
aliens
day by
in the
day.
country. The Wisconsin bar ought to revoke her license to practice ever again in her life. She deserves our scorn.
That's his own words, Elon Musk. I'm killing
So
the
here is
woke
a
mind
new
virus.
statement from Senator
That's his own
Durbin,
tweet
Senate
on
Judiciary
X.
Committee on the Wisconsin judge. He says, when
I
immigration
feel the
enforcement
same.
officials interfere with our criminal justice system, it undermines public safety, prevents victims and witnesses from coming forward, and often prevents those who committed crimes from facing justice in the United States. How does this make America any safer? Your reaction to what
All the liberals are crying because Tesla stock is shooting up to the moon
Well,
right
he's very
now.
confused, right? Those law enforcement officers were there doing their job. They're going to that courthouse most likely because Milwaukee won.
Cry.
the
Tesla
jail
stock
when
went
the
up
guy was
10%
arrested the
yesterday.
first time
Cry.
for the battery that he committed. They could have arrested him in the jail after he got arrested the first time, or when he made bail, he would have been turned over to ICE. But Dick Durbin, he wants to have it both ways. He says he's for law and order. He says he's for the people, but he's not for the victims of illegal aliens who also commit crimes in the United States.
Hit the like and
He's not for the
subscribe
rule
button
of
if you're
law,
new to the
because that
channel.
arrest would have been completely lawful, and it wouldn't have interfered at all if she would have done her job and heard that case or whatever the hearing
No
was.
justice,
They
no
would have-
peace.
they would
Let
have
the
taken that
judge
man
be
into custody after
released.
the hearing safely without incident. She's the one that screwed up here. And
The judge committed a crime. They found
makes us all
pictures of a
glad
dead
that he's on his way to
corpse
retirement.
on the gang member's phone. That was an illegal. He's going to El Salvador. Tesla is doing great, man. They're about to come out with the cyber cab, and they're about to release the fully autonomous driving vehicles in Austin, Texas. The stock is almost at $300. It's doing great.
She didn't want to clarify that, but that is what she's caught on tape saying.
Well, she's saying basically call and make themselves
Raise a
known.
ruckus.
But threaten is a different word when you say threaten. And we've seen Maxine Waters say that too. And people listen to them. Unfortunately, as we know, there are people in this society who take literally what you say. And I don't know. I don't think it was a great idea. Can we get back to the courtroom? Because I think everybody is just.
I
trying to
checked the
figure out
Tesla
what
stock.
happened in that courtroom with the judge being
Almost
arrested.
300 a
And
share
yes,
on the
it's
Tesla
concerning.
stock. The
It's
libs are
disappointing.
pissed. The libs are pissed.
But I was also thinking about.
Wait, when it
the
goes to
victims
500 by the
in
end of the
court.
year, the liberals will be
I've
crying their
covered
brains
many
out.
cases as a reporter
Elon's gonna
of
double his
domestic
net
abuse.
worth.
A lot of these victims don't like to go against the people who've attacked them. They're scared. They're afraid of retribution. So that woman is sitting in that courtroom where all of a sudden the man that she believes, attacked her is at a side door, disappeared, and the next thing you know, who knows what happened in that courtroom? All hell breaks out. They're looking for him. I was looking over the criminal complaint.
So many innocent
And,
people were jailed by these
Jessica and I were
judges,
talking earlier,
and yet
she
the
was
only
very,
people
very
that can
concerned
escape
about
are the illegal
standards
immigrant
of
criminals.
struggling
Pathetic.
with something like this. But when you look over this and you see that a courtroom deputy in this.
Musk didn't stand down. He said he's gonna be working all 4 years of Trump's presidency. Before Elon was going to only work in Doge until 2026, and now he said he's gonna work for 4 years during all of Trump's term. 3 years and 8 months, whatever you Democrats want to call it. But he said that he's just going to work 1 day less a week on Doge and focus on building Tesla up, which was actually a mind-controlling trick to the investors and to the Democrats to make Tesla stock go up more. He just said that to calm you guys down a little bit because you were doing so much terrorist acts. He was getting tired of putting Tesla the people that vandalize on Tesla in prison. He was tired of doing that, so he made a little bit of a mind control trick and told you that he's going to quote unquote back away from Doge. But really, he said that he's going to work 1 day less a week on it, and he's going to be working. He basically extended his term. He was only going to work until 2026. Now he's going to be there until 2028. So you can cry about getting rid of all the corruption and all of the spending all you want. Elon's there to stay.
And direct people not to sit in the jury box because it was exclusively for the jury use. However, the defendant was allowed to sit in the jury box. Secondly, the judge...
It's funny that you actually thought Elon was going to step down because that's exactly what he wanted you to think, so Tesla stock can shoot up.
And the next thing you know, ICE agents are being told what's going on. They're running after...
Hit the like and subscribe button, though, if you guys are new
I
here.
don't know. Something is very fishy here.
Yeah, they chased him down the street.
They chased him down the street and they got him.
He had some, and there's a debate about how he got out and what the judge
I know
directed
everybody's
him to
worried about the
do.
judge, but, you know.
Right, and so what DHS is telling us, it says he has a laundry list of violent criminal charges, including strangulation and suffocation, battery, and domestic abuse.
And they want to free this guy. The Democrats are sick in the head.
Infliction of physical pain or injury.
Hit the like and subscribe button.
Greg, the allegation is the judge felt like that's the guy who needed protecting.
Yeah, I would like to quote Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and every self-righteous Democrat. No one is above the law. Mm-hmm. And that includes left-wing judges who subvert the law themselves. This isn't even about political ideology or even immigration. We're seeing judges who clearly lean towards a specific side. They're called activist judges, but that's a contradiction. Judges are not activists. They are judges. Maybe this judge has a backstory with this illegal. Could it be? It's not just the gavel that she's banging, Shannon. I want to talk about Frederica Wilson. It's hard to take her seriously when she dresses like she's auditioning for the Real Housewives of the Kentucky Derby. They define what you're seeing is a lot of these people in power define their positions by their hatred for Trump. If he came out against self-harm, she would probably punch herself in the face. I understand loyal opposition. That's your role when you aren't in power. But you should have some duty to your constituents to offer them a better path than what you're seeing. What would you do differently? The whole point of this was getting rid of the worst first.
Tesla stock is going up. Tesla stock is going up.
People voted for. This is the
Elon is going with Doge until 2028.
Other than, I don't know, trying to stop the process altogether. That's my question. Is this going to happen with every single deportation? Are they just going to try to hinder what Americans voted for, bogging it down and exhausting us with maybe like one case a week? Something that they never did with Obama when he deported 2.4 million illegals. They're turning an administrative process into a legal one. Imagine a game where a corrupt umpire throws a flag on every play. So the game can't go forward for one reason or another. This is what they were doing. And by the way, this is what they did to the first Trump administration. They constantly waged lawfare on him. And this is lawfare now specifically pointed at the process that Americans voted for, which is to get the illegal aliens out of this country.
Well, and Greg, to your point about the polls, we have brand new Fox News polling this week that showed that a majority of people do agree and support the president, approve, Jessica, of what he's doing when it comes to border security. I mean, the numbers have gone to a trickle by any objective standard, and they say they do want people out of this country if they're here illegally.
Even the Democrats agree. Hit the like and subscribe button. The Democrats want the borders to be closed for the illegals.
Democrats and people who have respect for the separation of powers are aligning with the judge, not with this guy who was let out the side door and got picked up. Maybe he deserves to be deported out of here. He deserves to stay in court, and then he deserves to go. He's not supposed to be here, and those things are true. But yes, in our Fox News polling, you see an positive approval for the president on border security, but he's underwater in terms of handling immigration, and now that's true across the board on all the major.
More
We've seen it in Reuters.
mainstream media lies. It doesn't matter if it's Fox or if it's CNN. Not everything they say is true.
Doing in terms of immigration, and they went from approving it at 10 plus points to a strong disapproval. And that's because it feels completely lawless. And Greg says these are activist judges. The Supreme Court, a conservative court that Donald Trump himself was able to pack, is not an activist.
I'm talking about her.
No, I'm talking, but it's about all of them. He's gone against the Supreme Court.
But that
He's gone against the Fourth Circuit. Fourth Circuit, a Reagan appointee who wrote that decision saying you can't send this latest shipment to Venezuela. Now you're talking about this woman, a county judge. And when Pam Bondi comes out there and says, we will come after you and we will prosecute you, we will find you, that is meant to have a chilling effect. They didn't need to.
What's your solution? Again,
but
you
they didn't
cite
need
polls, but
they
I
did not
apologize.
need to
Adults
arrest-
have to do the adult job, and it's not
You know
going
what
to be
the
popular.
adult job is? First of all, not announcing this on social media, having to take it down and then putting it back up. The adult thing to do would be to have called her in and have her come in and have a conversation about it. They didn't need to publicly arrest this woman. They wanted to make a
I have a video.
Yes, they did.
make a show of it, but everything is for the camera.
Somebody whose actual
She was a criminal.
purpose in this world is to enact justice and sometimes be the sole deciding factor on what justice is, who sits in front of people and has their entire lives in her hands, and she can't do something as simple as obey the law herself, and we should just hide it under the rug.
That's what the Democrats
Pat her on
believe.
the hand for putting a guy back out on the street or trying to hide a guy.
Hit the like and subscribe button.
Who punched someone 30 times and then struck a woman trying to break it up. With all due respect, this whole argument about these Venezuelan gang members or people who say they aren't in a gang, but they've got MS-13 and code on their
That's a
knuckles.
fake
to say
photo.
that, well, whatever it, okay, well, not everybody.
Wait,
You've also sat here and argued against using tattoos to say if someone's a member of MS-13. So anyone who has a tie to MS-13 or the government suspects of it, if you tell me that they deserve due process, I'll tell you that I know Laken Riley's dad, and I would go out and kick every one of them out of this country just because of Laken Riley. So when Frederica Wilson said something like more people are getting rolled up because of Laken Riley, you're damn right they are. Because this whole country saw what happened to Laken Riley. And we said, hell no. And then that act was passed by Congress that we voted in and signed into law by a president that we voted in. And if not being for due process for illegal immigrants that come here and commit crime makes me a bad American, okay, well, at least I'm still American, and that's a hell of a lot more than they are.
But conservative juggernauts like Antonin Scalia have spoken about the fact that people who are here undocumented deserve due process.
They can have their intellectual arguments. I live in the real world where people get hurt, where my sister gets a head-on collision from a drunk illegal who was brought here by a coyote that the Biden administration was happy letting operate. I live in the real world. I don't live in New York. I don't live in D.C. I don't live by the Supreme Court. I live in Northwest Georgia. I live in a town that's 78% Hispanic
Anymore?
Hey, Abrego,
Absolutely.
Abrego had due process.
That's why all those people are here.
Abrego has due process.
Here is it. You say due process, and we're all supposed to go, ooh, that must mean some kind of court. No, it's not a court. It's an administrative action. The guy was told what two judges said he was an illegal.
Well, something tells me he's going to get.
not allowed
He
to
is going to
deport
get
El Salvador.
And something tells me he's going to have some version of due process, and it's also going to involve him not residing in this country.
Okay.
Yeah.
But first, let's go to our senior White House correspondent, Jackie Heinrich. She's at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. What do we know, Jackie, about this latest judge who's been arrested and charged?
Yeah, John,
She's a criminal.
Has been released on her own recognizance after an appearance in federal court that was about a mile from her own courthouse, where all of this allegedly happened last Friday. According to
Jesus Christ. Did this guy just say Elon's on heroin? I don't think you can run 5 businesses at once and help the president of the United States on heroin, buddy. I think you're still on drugs yourself. You said you're an ex-drug addict. Hit the like and subscribe button, though, if you guys are new here. Much appreciated. Send them back. No, tearing families apart who aren't here illegally. Thank God. 2028, Trump's son will be the 48th. Maybe. Tesla stock is going to help Elon. Tesla stock is shooting through the roof. By the end of the year, Tesla stock could be doubled and Elon's net worth could be doubled. How do you guys feel? Elon will double his net worth with Tesla stock. Tesla stock went up almost 10% yesterday, almost to 300 a share. It's going to go to 500 soon. Just watch. Just watch. Yeah, I do want to bet on Tesla stock. Absolutely. You guys don't know anything about Tesla. They're coming out with the fully autonomous taxis in 2 weeks. I mean, not 2 weeks, 2 months. Sorry. If anyone knows what Waymo is, that's the autonomous taxi network in Austin, Texas. They only have 1,000 cars right now. And they cost almost $200,000 per car. But they're doing 40,000 rides every 2 weeks or so. You're wrong, Matt. Tesla's going up. The stock just went up over 10% just yesterday. Probably about 15% in the last week. Look on Twitter. Everyone is saying about how Tesla stock is peaking and how the Cybercab and the network of autonomous taxis is coming in less than 2 months. All you liberals are going to be crying because Tim Wall said, oh, look, Tesla's going to fail. The stock is so low. That was at 217 a share, something like that, 220 a share. Now look, literally a month later after Tim said that, Tesla stock is almost 300 a share.
To the criminal complaint, Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan escorted a Mexican national facing battery and domestic abuse charges out of the courtroom through the jury door so that he could evade arrest, and also tried to kick the deportation agents out of the courthouse. Listen here.
Judge finds out, she goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom. You're going to believe this. Takes the
you bought Netflix when they're at their peak.
Back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave. While a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
That Mexican national, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, was taken into custody during a foot chase, and now Judge Dugan is charged with obstructing and concealing. Trump administration's ordered local officials to assist federal deportation efforts or face investigation or prosecution, especially with focus on sanctuary cities. While Milwaukee is not
Elon's here illegally,
they do have limited cooperation with ICE, and there are members of the state assembly protesting this judge's arrest right now, making a call to action. You had one member, Ryan Clancy, say what Judge Dugan did apparently was to obstruct fascism. That is a quote.
Buddy, anybody can afford a Tesla. It's a cheap car. Anyone can afford a Tesla. If you have a job, you can probably afford a Tesla. If you have 250 or almost $300 now, you can afford a Tesla.
These developments come
you can afford the Tesla stock.
Yesterday blocked 3 key administration efforts that was halting citizenship requirements for voter registration, blocking efforts to withhold funds from sanctuary cities, and ordering the return of a second national who was deported to El Salvador. So much more to come on all these legal issues, guys.
All right, thank you very much, Jackie Heinrich at the White House. Sandra?
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page.
Wow, sorry, Sean Hannity. I can't believe that's over already. Yeah, anyone can afford a Tesla on a car payment. It's not that much money. And also, let's do a Tesla ad real quick. Gotta support my boy Elon Musk. The Model 3 just came out with 0% interest. That's right. Interest rates are high out there right now. Really high out there right now. So if you want to get your hands on a car with 0% interest rate, go to Tesla.com and go buy you a new Model 3 with 0% interest. Unless you liberals want to buy, another electric car with 10% interest. Well, sweetie, maybe you should get a job, hun. Then maybe you can afford some food. Model 3, 0% interest. If you don't want an EV, that's fine. But if you're a conservative man and you would like a new car with 0% interest, or even if you're not a conservative man, well, I'm sorry you worked a useless government job. Maybe you should find something, where you actually do a little bit of work, sweetie. That's right, guys. Finance, $440 a month, 0% interest. 4,000 down, 4,000 down, get you a new Tesla. Ultra red, ultra red, ultra red. Save up $4,000, 0% APR, $540 a month. And that's honestly less than a lot of other car payments at the moment because interest is so high. Well, that figures why you don't like Trump, sweetie. He probably wasn't trying to buy you as a client. My Tesla is in the United States of America, and the payment, we can do a comparison. About 3 years ago, the payment for this was about $650 a month with 2% interest, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. Now we're at 0% interest with $540 payment. $0% interest. If you need a new car, you don't want a car that's going to give you problems, an older car, you want a nice, modern, electric-looking car, no gas required, even though I know gas is getting cheaper under President Trump. I just said I did. I just said it's in America. Tesla. Deep blue metallic. Oh, that white is good too. Wow, that white looks nice. I can't even lie. The pearl white. I guess this is the only free color. All the other colors cost a little bit of money. But this is the brand new diamond black. Here, let's go back there. I hope so, sweetie. I hope so. Deep blue metallic. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Elon's ruining all the useless jobs. Okay, and of course you gotta get the white interior. You got to. It's stain resistant. You can spill wine on it. It wipes right off. It's not gonna seep into the seats. I just told you, Canna. The payment 3 or 4 years ago was $650 at 2% interest. Now it's 0% interest at $540 a month. You're saving $100 a payment. And cash prices are lower than ever. $35K. $35K. Beautiful car, beautiful car. The performance, $47K. Get you a performance model, $850. Get the white interior. You gotta get the white interior. Anyway, let's get back to the video. It was nice showing you guys a short little Tesla ad. Also, get yourself to self-driving. That's another 8,000. That's another 8,000. Now let's go back to the good old news about deporting the illegal immigrants. Tesla stock profits, they taste really, really good. They taste really, really good. The Tesla profits, that can change your life, guys. Illegals leave. Yes, sir, Jack Dyson. I've been in Tesla since 2017, long before he ever ran with Trump. And MAGA would prefer you left the country, Pepsi. But you won't do that.
Welcome back to this special edition of Hannity. Well, Democrats are floundering, and the public infighting is only getting worse. Michigan Senator Elisa Slotkin is now encouraging Democrats to stop being, quote, weak and woke, and to effing retake the flag. But for the Democratic Party, woke might be here to stay because one of the champions of woke ideology, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, is fueling speculation about a run for president in 2028.
She'll lose.
Look at this video and
she'll lose
decide.
against Trump.
You know, Idaho, I am so touched being here. I'm a girl from the Bronx. To be welcomed here in this state, all of us together, seeing our common cause, this is what this country is all about. Don't let them trick us into thinking we are enemies. Don't let them trick us into thinking we can be separated into rural and urban, black and white and Latino. We are one.
It's the elevator music for me in the background that I think solidifies she's running for president. Here now with reaction, Democratic pollster Doug Schoen and Fox News contributor David Webb. So, Doug, the Democrats just seem like they can't accept that the entire country shifted to the right in November. They're going to go all the way to the left, so it seems, in 2028.
Katie, I wish I could disagree with you, but you're right. My party did not read the mandate of the election correctly. They should be for tougher borders, getting tough on inflation, pro-growth policies, fiscal discipline. In fact, they're veering towards socialism, open borders, allowing crime in the inner city to effectively run rampant. And even worse than that, Katie, what we're seeing is
he's a Democrat. He's telling you
the
this.
Democratic National Committee, David Hogg, is using his position to raise money for primaries against other Democrats who are not sufficiently woke. I mean, this is craziness as far as I'm concerned.
So, David, what's the old saying? You know, if your opponent's making a mistake, don't stop and don't step in and stop them. But, you know, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is charismatic. She has a big following online. And let's be honest, half the country did turn out to vote for Kamala Harris. So maybe she could actually make some headway.
Well, look, she'll probably make some headway. But, you know, Doug, my friend, great to see you. If they did what you suggested, they would have to change to Republicans. That's not going to happen. And while
every single vote for Harris was just a vote against Trump. No one actually liked Harris. They were just voting against Trump. Simple as that. Hit the like and subscribe button.
Katie's point, half of the country, or almost half, did vote for Kamala Harris. Why they cast their votes and what that subset is that AOC and Bernie Sanders and Alyssa Slotkin, David Hogan, others are playing to is an even smaller subset of that. Therefore, their chances of winning a general election are even further diminished. And when it comes to the state by state issues, that I'm more concerned about, especially when you look at the retiring senators and the fact that they could keep some of those seats. I'd like to see Republican pickups, but their messaging, their cursing,
Pepsi, I would argue you're part of the trolls.
They're this woke, they're anti-oligarchy. It's all about coalescing the hard left with a loud voice, but a smaller subset of Americans who look for their desired outcomes. They want safety, security. They don't believe that illegal alien criminals who commit violent crimes to the level of rape and murder, or frankly even robberies, should be in our country, or that we shouldn't have a strong economy and that parents shouldn't have a say in their children's education. So their narratives don't match what a normal person, regardless of political affiliation, wants for themselves. They represent a very small subset.
You know, Doug, hypocrisy in politics is a pretty normal thing, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. Not for everyone, but a lot of politicians say one thing and do another. But when it comes to this...
Thank you, James. I really appreciate that comment, James. I agree 100%. Pinning your comment.
Oligarchy tour. You have AOC and Bernie Sanders talking about an oligarchy, which I'm not sure that most Americans really understand what that is. But then they get caught flying on a private jet to these events, trying to hide themselves, and yet we have
sad and rich.
Them walking off.
Bernie Sanders has $20 million in his bank account. He only wants the middle class to give all their money away. Fat blue crab.
And not only are they arguing that you can't be an oligarch.
Buddy, if only 49% of people voted for Trump, he wouldn't have been president. He won popular vote by millions and millions. It wasn't even close. No one cared to vote for Harris. The only reason that people voted for Harris was a vote against Trump. That's it. No one liked Harris. She's not going to run again.
But for climate change and all this other stuff. And to me, watching the 2024 campaign, whether it was Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, authenticity is something that Democrats are lacking and having a really hard time getting that back and getting the voters to trust them that when they say something, they actually mean it.
Well, again, Katie, I wish I could
Trump
disagree.
won the Electoral College. Trump won the popular vote, too.
But my party, and particularly AOC and Bernie Sanders, have gone far left. They have been hypocritical about both their lifestyle, their mode of transport, and indeed, they're out of touch with the issues the American people care about. Back in the late 80s and early 90s, Bill Clinton, who I worked for in the White House, moved to the center, tough on crime, fiscal discipline.
Pepsi, if you want to stay in America, then just keep crying about Trump. Cry for the next 3 years and 8 months. And then cry again when Trump gets elected in 2028.
Welfare reform, and won the White House and won the trust of the American people, left office with a 60% approval. Now my party is moving left, dividing itself, and is completely out of touch. We may win the midterms because of problems with the Republicans, but we certainly will not win 2028 and beyond without a centrist mainstream party.
So, David, real quick, between Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, and AOC, who's going to be the nominee?
And subscribe button.
You know, it is likely, I would say more likely to be Gavin Newsom, but who knows? But whoever the nominee is, and to Doug's point, if the Republicans deliver on the promises of the economy, safety, security, call it Maslow's hierarchy of needs comes into play, and the American people get more of their desired outcomes, Democrats will likely be out of national power for at least 2 more cycles. When you look at what they would need to do to win over the American people,
I
they're
agree.
not in a position in 2028. Doesn't mean I don't count them out. Doesn't mean they're not going to lie, cheat, and steal and push narratives and socialist ideas and far left ideas.
Guys, the only reason that it was even that was even remotely getting any votes for the Democrats was because they were voting against Trump. Other than that, there's no other reason that Harris got any votes. Hit the like and subscribe button.
But it will not get them the national, or certainly hope it never gets them the national conquest of the presidency. And as far as the House, I think Republicans are going
Think about this for a second. If Trump doesn't run again in 2028, the Democrats are going to get destroyed even harder than before. And that's going to make them look real pathetic.
defy history, deliver wins for the American people, get it into the end zone, and you will see the results at the ballot box up and down the ballot.
Well, we will be watching all of it, I'm sure. Doug Shaw and David Webb, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click.
Anyway, I had a crazy dream last night, guys, that I met Tucker Carlson. And that he invited me to his, what is it called? His birthday party, which is hilarious. He lives in Florida near my family, so, and my family has met Tucker Carlson before, so that was a really funny dream. That, because it's going to happen. True, but Tucker's birthday is next month. I mean, if he did invite me to it, I would fly from Europe to Florida for it, absolutely. I mean, that would be crazy. In my dream, though, I had met him and asked him to do an interview, but he told me like $30 million. And I was just looking at him like, bro, what the fuck? 30 million? But nah, he doesn't need that money. Hey, all the Democrats are pissed off that Trump is president. Tesla stock is going through the fucking roof. Cry about it. 500 soon, 600 soon, 700 soon. It'll be $1,000 in the next 2 or 3 years, and all you Dems will be crying because Elon will still be working with Trump by then, and his net worth will have tripled just because of Tesla stock. Yes, you are, TV. You voted for Biden. You voted for Harris. Cry about it, loser. You lost. It's over. Honestly, if he told me $30 million, I'll be real. I'm going to take out my phone and start recording Tucker right then and there. You're wrong. I think you meant an all-time low, but Tesla is not an all-time low. Just last year, the stock was $160. Now we're almost at $300 a share. Democrats are getting crushed by Tesla. Yeah, Tesla has been going up, a 10% gain yesterday. TV, you're just spreading hate. So I'm just kicking you out. You have no brain cells or nothing to talk about. You're just mad that Trump is president and there's nothing you can do about it. Cry, cry. I'm smiling because you're losing and we're winning. Tesla stock is shooting to the moon.
It's April. And meanwhile, Paul Rove is queuing up. He's going to be with us shortly.
Cry about it, Pepsi. He's in politics.
U.S. Ambassador to the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. He's going to be with us shortly, too, to go inside that story. And we know a lot of...
I don't know. I barely watched his show, but I like the title, so I'm going to click on it. Let's see what he's talking about.
Basically 30% of the world's economy, where the rest of the other 70% of our markets are elsewhere. It's to our advantage to get those other countries to lower their...
Del Bob, apparently you don't watch the stock market. It's actually 300 a share right now, and it's going to 1,000 soon. You haven't been staying updated with the news about Tesla at all. And no, I don't only watch Fox News. I'm watching multiple news sources. I don't believe everything from CNN just like you do. All right, Bob, you had to look it up though. It's not 250, is it, huh? It's not 250, is it, huh? You're wrong. It's almost 300. It's going to 300 soon. I promise you that. It gained 10% yesterday, so you can cry about it, Bobby. All right, I kind of want to watch this one video, but nah, I won't put it on there. I won't put it on there. Should I? Nah. Good night. I guess you're coming from China because I don't know why it would be nighttime wherever you are, but what do you want me to talk about, sweetie pie? How you lost your useless government job?
As left-wing judges work nonstop to shut down the president's agenda,
Hit the like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel.
Much like a judicial coup, you're going to be shocked to see what passes for a judge these days in the United States.
Shocked.
Now, we all know the law must be followed and respected, right? That's part of the whole process. So, of course, the toxic left found a way to corrupt the law itself with its very cancerous ideology. And two remarkable examples of this tonight. The first, Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan, arrested today by the FBI.
I agree, redneck, as long as you're not an illegal.
ICE by concealing his court appearance on the public docket and then guiding him out of a secret exit from court where he ran from immigration officials. They were waiting for him in one place. She sent him another way to try and get him away from ICE. This is a judge. The second, a New Mexico judge arrested for harboring a Trendy.
It's the same story, but it's with new details. Better in-depth details.
In his own home. These are judges doing this. The absolute pinnacle of the judicial system. They allegedly have the integrity required to pass judgment on citizens in a free society. These people can put you in prison. They don't belong anywhere near these positions. These are just two examples of a rotting, corrupted, and politicized judicial system in this country. But before we get into the juicy details of just how twisted this all is, though, here's a look at the reactions we've heard today to these two very logical arrests.
Dramatic escalation in the Trump administration's conflict with judges. The FBI director saying on social media that they have taken the extraordinary step to arrest a judge.
This is not just an aggressive, but probably an over-aggressive move by the Bureau.
Hannah Dugan is not just a judge, she's an American citizen. So now we are starting to arrest American citizens.
The Trump administration's FBI, headed by Kash Patel, arrested a Wisconsin judge for simply standing up for the rights of immigrants. This is without any historical precedent and truly terrifying.
Rights of immigrants. Good God. Absolute fury, of course. For a little more context, in New Mexico, Judge Joel Cano and his wife allowed a Trendy Aragua gang member to live in the spare room behind.
Hit the like and subscribe button. I think it's funny that Democrats think they're good shit talkers. They're really not.
Pictures of two decapitated bodies on his cell phone. The judge, if you want to call him that, was clearly aware that Christian Ortega Lopez was a member of the most violent foreign gang that's operating inside the United States. There's a video of the judge on Ortega Lopez's
Hit the like and subscribe button.
posing in his living room.
This isn't Fox, buddy. This is Newsmax. It just shows how brainwashed you are, sweetie pie.
Aragua gang member who presumably is filming him. Here's more pictures of the judge hanging out with other gang members at his house. This is
cry about Trump. He's your president for the next 3 years and 8 months.
It doesn't get any crazier than this. And then there's Judge Dugan.
I agree, Florida Blondie. Shout out Florida, by the way. I'm from Florida myself.
Subvert immigration officers. Eduardo Flores Ruiz, seen here, is accused of punching his roommate more than 30 times.
Tom, you're crying.
Attacking a woman. He's a very violent guy. An illegal who was deported and then entered again illegally. So he's been here twice against the law. Judge Dugan made it her mission to make sure this...
Yeah, the Democrats don't want to admit it, but Florida is one of the most free and beautiful states in the entire country. And they're scared to admit that because where they live in New York and California, it's not as nice, unfortunately, for them. I'm a minimalist guy. What do you want me to put in my room? I just moved into a new apartment. And who cares about material possessions? I own plenty of stuff, but what really matters, material possessions or your net worth?
Violent man can stay in the United States and continue to pummel our citizens. Here she is years ago talking about
Hit the like and subscribe button.
The rule of law is how we...
Yeah, it's honestly pathetic, and the Democrats think they're good at talking shit, but I could make any one of them cry. I don't care about them.
Grow as people. The rule of law is premised on equal justice, but also we have evolved into due process.
Tell us more about the rule of law and due process. Here's what DOJ
Tom
says
Carville,
DOJ
you're a Democrat. You voted for Joe Biden, and you voted for Kamala Harris. You can keep repeating it all you want. No one here believes you.
They came anyway. When they showed up, apparently Judge Dugan was furious that they were there. She yelled at ICE agents and then took an alleged illegal criminal and his attorney and guided them to an escape route through the jury door.
Cry about it, Tom. Cry, baby, Tom.
Flores Ruiz, we're told, ran but was caught. And more than anything, all of this, as you listen to these ridiculous stories of just a couple of judges, think about how many more are out there, by the way. This is a reminder of just how flawed and political our judges are. Right now, we have district judges.
Everyone spam the comment with Trump.
Yesterday alone, 3 handcuffing the administration on immigration. Democrats and the media scoff at the idea that these judges...
Of course we care about illegal criminals. They're human trafficking and beating up women in the community.
Illegal immigrants.
And selling fentanyl.
That judges take.
Trump. Let's piss off the liberals. Everyone spam the chat. MAGA, Trump. Go Trump.
And this is
Trump.
Our founding fathers had fears of a judicial coup. Jefferson and Hamilton wrote intently on limiting the powers of judges. It's so obvious. You give these people a ton of power. What if they're...
Hey, Tim, you sound like a smart man.
As we can clearly see. And these
Trump, guys. Look at all these comments for Trump.
You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different.
Let's watch this one. This one's pretty funny.
Sweet karma for insufferable Trump lawfare architect Letitia James, the Attorney General of the state of New York. James is in serious trouble tonight. Earlier this week, a criminal referral submitted to Pam Bondi's Department of Justice by the Federal Housing Finance
All right, that's
Agency,
enough spam in the comments. I'm going to
City
kick you out now
stated
because
a
you
newly
won't stop
purchased
spamming.
Virginia home was her primary residence while she was working in Manhattan 5 days a week. That's tough to justify. A claim that likely gave her a better interest rate, which is fraud. Something she taught us all about. FHFA also claims James lied about the number of units in her 5-family Brooklyn townhouse to get a better interest rate as well. Also fraud.
I agree. She
James
should have
claimed
kept her
father
mouth
used
shut.
her husband to secure another cheaper loan. And there are also allegations of campaign finance violations for spending New York taxpayer money to fly private
MAGA Mike.
campaign trips. A lot of stuff in this. James has been hiding from
No, but if you're just going to spam blackened a million times with no context or meaning, I'm not just going to let you do that. It's my channel, so... And I don't like, I want to hear other people's comments. I don't want to just read the same thing over and over again. There's nothing offensive about blackened anyway, so your point's not valid that it's offensive to me. I don't care if you comment blackened. What does that even mean? What does blackened even mean? If she said Harris or if she said Biden or woke, yeah, you can spam that all you want. But, what the hell does blackened mean?
For the past couple of days, but last night she ran to a trusted bootlicker in New York local news for
nothing is sensible about blackened. I don't even know what that means. Hit the like and subscribe button.
And the mortgage on it is for a 4-family house. Is that true?
So let me just say that, Errol, as any good attorney, I will not litigate this case in a camera. It's important that we will respond to these allegations at the appropriate time and in an appropriate way. But I will not go back and forth with respect to these baseless allegations.
Yeah. I want to go back and forth because they're not baseless, because it's documents with her name on it, because it's so obvious, right? But in time, she's going to respond. Right. Much like her office's statement from earlier this week, there is no denial. There's just a lot of empty rhetoric. Here's more.
The allegations are nothing more than a revenge tour. It's important that individuals know that this is nothing more than the continuation of the tour. He went after law firms, universities, immigrants, women. Thousands of federal employees right now are unemployed. Our government.
Long
is
before
in
he
chaos
ran
and
for president,
disarray.
Trump said Epstein was a horrible person. So I don't know what you're talking
She's
about.
the worst actress you've ever seen. You gag when you see her talk. She won't discuss anything because there's really nothing to discuss, of course.
I still don't know what it means,
Which
Harry.
appears to be undeniable. We spoke earlier this week with the man that dug it all up, of course, and last night James admitted that the Virginia home that she claimed as her primary residence while she was New York's Attorney General was in fact being inhabited right now by her own family members, which explains why the occupant was so rude to two Daily Caller reporters who arrived simply to ask a few questions. The driveway.
Hello there, ma'am. No comment? Okay, well, who lives here?
Who lives here, ma'am?
No comment.
Got worse than that, too. Why so angry, I wonder? Maybe because she knows that she's the benefactor of one of Tish James' multiple alleged real estate schemes. How many people do you know keep a no trespassing sign?
You're wrong, dead charge. You just don't like Trump and you're upset that he's president and you're a nobody.
Tish James' niece apparently needs 2 no trespassing signs in the front yard of a house in a neighborhood. Here's a little more from last night's interview.
I was under the impression
hit the like and
that
subscribe
what
button,
they
though.
were really looking for is what they got, which is a headline saying, Tish James is under a criminal investigation. Is that pretty much what's going on here?
Yeah, that's what they got. That's what they got. And it's unfortunate that you have some of these right-wing conservative individuals who are camped out in front of my home and in front of the homes of my relatives in Virginia, harassing them each and every day. It is nothing more than a headline, nothing more than,
Trump
again, retaliation
2028.
against all of the actions that I have taken successfully against Donald Trump.
She's complaining. She wants sympathy because her family's being harassed. I mean, how rich, how unbelievably rich. And this isn't retaliation, Tish. You're sleeping in the bed that you made. The Wall Street Journal editorial board calling it the lawfare boomerang. Her civil prosecution of Mr. Trump for overvaluing his assets was a weak case in which there was no real victim. Again, the bank testified on Trump's behalf, but she kept saying no one is above the law. She pushed it as hard as she could. Exactly. They prosecuted Trump for a tactic that's been used by every single developer in this city, maximizing asset valuations. Everybody does it, but they didn't go after anyone but him. It was so egregious he won the election, largely based off of it. It was so insane, the governor of this state had to go on the radio to calm the nerves of other New York developers, basically saying that this was only about Trump, don't worry.
I think that this is really an extraordinarily unusual circumstance that the law-abiding and rule-following New Yorkers who are business people have nothing to worry about because they're very different than Donald Trump and his behavior.
Yeah, they're very different, Kathy. They're not running for president against the establishment government of the United States. As Tish James built this ridiculous case against Trump, documents indicate she was actively engaging in real estate fraud herself and had plenty more in her past. Think about what kind of person, what kind of sociopath can put this case together knowing this about herself. This isn't revenge on Tish James. This is justice. She's about to be swallowed by the trap that she created.
Hit the like and subscribe button.
She's blaming conservative media for all this, saying it's all just a ruse. The man who dug all this up, Sam Antar, former fraudster turned fraud investigator, clearly stating
That's funny. Dead Change is a Democrat, and at the same time, he hates gay people. That is hilarious.
Public record and your own signatures. So let's be absolutely clear. The allegations against you are not baseless. And for the record, complaints about Tish James' Brooklyn home scam had been pouring in long before Trump even went on trial. New York Times reporting this. Her neighbors knew the attorney general was scamming the system. They were reporting her to the city. It's been happening for a while. For now, though, Tish James remains defiant.
I will not be silenced. I will not be bullied. I will not bend. I will not break. and I will not bow to anyone. No one is above the law.
Thank you,
including the
Guns
President of
Tommy.
these United
We
States.
appreciate you.
Yeah, no one's
Thank you for being a patriot and loving your
She's not
country.
going anywhere. She's throwing a fundraiser for herself next week. You know, everybody's reporting the same stories.
She's throwing a fundraiser.
It's always the same. But not us. We're
What's this one? What's this one?
Man, I've seen some crazy stuff. But then I saw Dominique Alexander during a 30-minute press conference today, and I realized this is the peak of insanity, the very peak, and hopefully it's all downhill from here.
Good point, Baker.
A lot of things got us to this moment. There's some great things going on, but our society was infected, and I figured out the exact moment where everything really went haywire, officially haywire. Remember this woman from St. Louis who got into an argument with a guy who wanted to come into her building, and she didn't know who it was. So she didn't feel comfortable in the vestibule. Like, do you live here? You know, I've got my key. You're walking in behind me. This is my key. Who are you? Happens every day, actually. You're not supposed to let strangers in the building. And women alone at night, it can be a little uncomfortable with anybody in one of those closed vestibules without anybody else there. She got into an argument with a black person, and I guess that's not allowed. And it was international news.
The confrontation caught on video, a white woman blocking a black tenant from entering their apartment building, demanding proof that he lives there.
Look, this guy is spamming my comments with black, and I still don't know what that means, but go check out my other videos. Hit the like and subscribe button.
They were on the up and up. It was, what was the date? 2018, in the middle of the Trump administration, okay? The first Trump administration. A lot has happened since. A lot has happened since. And a lot got...
I have a new phone. That's what you're watching this
Black
on.
Lives Matter riots, yeah? They were celebrated as something good and beautiful, or they were just ignored. They just focused on the stuff they wanted to focus on, and they ignored the violence and the carnage, and corporate America fell in line, just writing huge checks to people they did not know, people they did not understand. They just didn't want any problems. This is Coca-Cola. The next guy is some hedge fund dude. And then it's Tim Cook of Apple.
Companies like ours must speak up as allies to the Black Lives Matter movement.
It's a critical time for our country. It's a critical time, I think, for business to also be speaking out, speaking up about these issues.
I want to address the topic of racism, inequality, and injustice, and to recognize the pain being felt throughout our nation, especially in our Black and brown communities after the senseless killing of George Floyd.
You know, in a certain way,
I can't lie, that was pretty funny seeing him. I don't even remember him doing that, but that's pretty funny, I can't lie.
Insane, but it was still troubling that society was going down the tubes, and we went through a lot and have been through a lot, and it kept getting tough. We have Donald Trump back in the White House, and that was beautiful, and it is beautiful, and he's doing his part.
It is beautiful. Donald J. Trump
left a mark, and we need like disinfectant or something, because a lot of chunks of our country are still totally backwards and totally crazy. And I think what really exemplifies all the problems is Austin Metcalf's murder. You know about this? 17-year-old high school student stabbed to death at a track meet, and it was apparently a little bit of a pushing match. And then, well, by all accounts, I don't think he's even denying it anymore. Carmelo Anthony, a fellow student, 17 years old, took out a knife that he brought to that track meet, stabbed him, killed him, Austin Metcalf, and now this person is rich and famous, and what's the total up to at this point? $465,000 plus and climbing.
He's richer than all you Democrats by killing a white boy.
This individual, the defendant, but that people would give money. That's kind of the weird, offensive part, right? So there was a press conference today.
Horrible.
Blew me away. We'll get to that in a moment. But the father of the victim here has been tremendous, and took me a while to come to terms with this. He forgave the stabber. He came out and said it out loud.
He doesn't deserve any money.
Maybe we can learn from this.
and try to turn.
He only got that money because he's black. That's the only reason. He killed somebody.
I don't want parents to feel like I feel today. So I've already forgiven the person who stabbed him.
He's out on bail, Harry, unfortunately.
God take care of my son. I kissed him. When I kissed him goodbye for the last time, I told him it's not goodbye, it's see you later.
Wow. Tough stuff. But he already forgave the man who killed his son. So there was a press conference today by some community leader, self-described, and
he's a criminal
of the alleged killer. Although I think we can stop saying alleged because I think he's admitted to it. He's just saying self-defense. They got started by doing this. The man you just saw who offered his forgiveness actually showed up at the press conference. I think it's of interest to him, right? He can do whatever he wants. They kicked him out. They called the cops and they kicked the man out. And you'll see him in a moment. He's wearing a blue shirt with sunglasses. The cops feel awful. They offer their hands, like, you know, they start shaking his hand. I think they're very apologetic. So apparently this was private property, so the organization could decide who was there and who wasn't. And so that's the father. And he had
everybody piss off the liberals. So spam MAGA. Trump 20
is
28
character.
What we seen at the beginning of this press conference, the father being at this press conference, these are my words.
I agree, redneck.
Don't quote anybody. Is a disrespect to the dignity of his son.
He's friends with the killer.
Sweetie pie, that's not true.
Son is dead. The dignity, it's just he's attacking the dead boy's father. And he's not done. He keeps at it for a long time.
Next Generation Action Network from the beginning.
Hi, Brian.
Has respected the loss of life. No matter our opinion of it, we have kept our opinion close. We have not attacked. We have not shared the information that was shared with us.
He's a criminal.
And as a minister, I would not.
A minister? You mean a criminal?
A grieving family. That was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this.
Nah, redneck is gonna live longer than the Satan lover.
He can do whatever he wants. This minister, who's also a criminal, by the way. Minister, how did they become a minister? If you really stood for that,
nah, daddy, Satan, whatever you want to be called.
Could unify the community, something like that. What's this group called?
You're going straight to hell.
Network sounds totally not legitimate. All right. Then the matter of the money. People are, hey, what's going on with the money? It's $500,000. What's up with the money? Watch him try to explain it.
All of the funds that were raised on the GoFundMe were all fraud.
Yeah, I got you. All right. Nice job there, Chief.
All right, no racist comments.
That mic drop moment, but not the kind of mic drop moment that's a mic drop moment. They have no really good explanation for this money, and they're trying to act all innocent, and it's pretty gross, all the money that's coming in. Not a reflection on the family, really, but all the people who are giving it, handing it over. And they're saying, oh, this is great. You're fighting the white supremacists, stuff like that. It's awful.
That's the only reason they got $500,000. They murdered somebody.
The family has been subject to unimaginable amount of hate, racism, threats to their safety. People have sat outside their house.
Criminal.
Objects delivered to their door.
He's a criminal and he's a criminal.
Online and in person. This is not just about Carmelo. It's about the family who dared to stand and demand justice.
I don't know.
Criminal?
Sent objects
Criminal.
to their door. Could that be the mail or outside their house?
The only one that's not a convicted criminal is her, and I don't even know if that's true.
Kind of happens. Hey, watch what happens when a cop is involved in something controversial, right? I mean, whoa, they almost burned down the guy's
Sorry,
house.
Bobo. Trump
This
is your
happens all
president for the
time.
next 3
You've
years
seen
and
it
8
before.
months.
It's not the best part of American society, but it is a part. This happens. I just, and some people use it as an excuse to riot and burn down the entire city.
Good
All
point,
right,
Michael.
next,
Good
please.
point.
Racism in this country still breeds. But let me say this loud and clear. We are not scared. We are not moving. We will not be silent.
You know, if anybody should know about being silent, it's this guy, because he's had the Miranda rights read to him. You got the right to remain silent. The guy's been arrested like 70 times. I'm serious. Look at this rap sheet. This guy's gotten in a lot of trouble for a lot of things. And every time he gets busted, he gets a picture taken. And sometimes, well, his hairdo has changed over the years a little bit. Got the long hair, got the earrings, and it's got no earrings, and he's got this, and he's got that. And again, quite the character.
I'm trying to find how many of y'all have asked the superintendent or one single board of trustee, why didn't you cancel or postpone? With weather in that magnitude, you couldn't have a track meet in rain or thunderstorm or clouds. Y'all are the media. Ask your journalists, your weather journalists, how the weather was that day and that time. Y'all do that research.
All right, so he's actually upset that there was a track meet in the rain, and he seems to be saying if there wasn't a track meet that day, Carmelo would not have gone with a knife and killed somebody. They have track meets in the rain all the time, okay? These are just photos I found of people at track meets in the rain, and we don't have a weatherman necessarily, and I looked it up. Yeah, it was cloudy. It looks like it was raining in Frisco, Texas. So what? So what? All right. So this is all a racial thing, according to the minister.
But the ugly attacks on her just shows Black America that no matter what you pick in the ballot box, and that is your constitutional right, it's people out here reminding us of the Black struggle in America.
Well, of course, right? Of course. It's you play that card. It is a way in the past to get a lot of money and a lot of power. But you used to have to be a victim. I've never heard of an assailant playing the card. It doesn't make sense. I think we're going to hear from the mother now. I have a measure of sympathy for the mother, and she actually, she's a little bit out there in some of the stuff she says, but some of it's actually very appropriate. And I know she's suffering. So let's hear from the mom.
Whatever you think, what happened between Carmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false
Graham, hit the like and subscribe button, Graham. I have the same name.
Last week has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff.
I don't want anybody to be threatened. I don't want anybody to be harmed, but I'm telling you, we're getting mixed messages from the family's lawyer regarding the funds. They're like, yeah, the family needs to be able to survive. There's been a tremendous amount of pressure. I think at this point, living in a gated community, given everything, the safety of their younger children is very warranted. Look, people don't like this kind of money coming in. They just don't like it. I kind of understand that. And you got people on the team saying that they kind of need the money.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. I don't really watch media either. I do a lot of research as well, Graham. I have the same name, but the only reason I'm showing these videos is to give you guys an idea of what's going on right now. But let's find the next video.
The reason I became a Catholic priest, because I really do believe that when Jesus said, "This is my body," he meant it. And so we have seen Eucharistic miracles where the
If you check out my other videos, you will see 100% I support Donald J. Trump, if that's what you mean by hate.
This is a Fox Business special presentation.
Okay, let's watch this business, Fox.
Here's your host, Charles Payne.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, I want to say thank you to everyone for being here. I really appreciate it. Over the next hour is to focus on how everyone and why everyone should be an investor. Unbreakable Investor. This is my third book about the stock market. It's a mix. Inspiration, my own personal journey, lessons on finding and taking advantage. That's the key word, folks. Taking advantage of these opportunities out there. By the way, in the book, I give assignments at the end of every single chapter. You take those, you read the book, you take the assignment, you take the test. When you finish, you hit the ground running. But this is a lifelong endeavor, right? The sooner you start, the better off you will be. Looking at least 100 years, right? Looking at the stock market for 100 years, this goes back to 1925. Look at all the blue and all the red. It seems like a pretty simple decision, right? Okay, maybe I should.
I agree, Mary.
And this is really interesting. Right here around the 1970s, look at all the times you had blue versus red. Would you take that blue against that red? If that's, I mean, anytime you would do it, you would be in the stock market. It's been that easy for this long, and yet so many people are afraid and intimidated. I understand, right? But investors age 18 to 81, this is the moment. Right now, there's never been a better moment, in my opinion. Investors are already starting to change different things. I love folks are taking a different approach. There's a different kind of confidence out there. So the focus today will be on maximizing this particular time and opportunity. And what really I love, this bear market that we're in, it gives us a perfect timing for this town hall. Because instead of reacting emotionally and definitely postponing investment plans due to market volatility, I'm imploring everyone, and I've been imploring everyone, to be ready to confront this situation head on. I want you to be opportunistic. This is more than just buying the dip, folks. Long-term investors should be building positions at this very moment. And by the way, everyone should be a long-term investor. Now, listen, there's going to be certain stocks that are cheaper than others. There are going to be certain stocks that you understand better than others. The bottom line is seize the moment, take advantage of this, because if you do, it will have a significant impact on your financial situation. There's absolutely no doubt about it for me, folks. And this is it. In the book, Unbreakable Investor, the focus is really, ironically, on this exact moment, because these moments come, and I know they're going to come. I always knew they were going to come, and I laid it out. In my introduction and preface in the book, I talk about these
Thank you for your
areas
service.
you can thrive. This is the greatest wealth transfer in history. You're lucky enough to have a relative that leaves you some money. You can blow it. So what do you do with that? Because if someone leaves you money, it means that they were able to sacrifice and earn money. Think for yourself. Best investing weapons, time, patience, and the ability to make adjustments. You don't want to be rigid. There are too many folks out there who are rigid. Let the experts be rigid because they get paid no matter what. You got people on Wall Street get paid millions of dollars and have never been right. Never.
Good point. Good point. Never been right, huh? Never been right.
All right, Democratic leaders are going all in on suspected MS-13 gang member. 3 names, 1 man, Kilmar. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is throwing his weight around with a possible El Salvador boycott. This one really hurt them. Over Garcia's detention, directing Illinois agencies to review potentially cut ties with companies linked to the country. Not to be outdone, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz used his state address to talk about how Trump is throwing fathers.
I agree, Graham. You're a smart man.
This land
and we share the same name.
Home of the brave. We have university students.
And I agree, redneck. That is a crime in my eyes.
And fathers being tossed into Salvadorian gulags without a hint of due process. So I want to be real clear about this. If you say you love freedom, but you don't believe freedom is for everybody, then the thing you love isn't freedom, it's privilege.
Thank you for that. But after that, father, let's examine who this guy is. DHS sources confirmed to Fox that Kilmar Arbrego Garcia was pulled over driving an SUV belonging to a confessed human smuggler and illegal alien. Now, some Democrats are panicking over the prospect that voters will side against their party for defending Garcia. One Democratic consultant saying this to The Hill: people can't afford eggs, and you're flying to sit with someone who's accused of being in a gang. And I think it's almost more than accused. If you read the police report when he was pulled over originally in 2019, he's with MS-13 members. He profiles that way, even had a rank with it, wearing the paraphernalia. They knew he was in a gang then.
Yeah, at the very least, doesn't appear to be a good actor. Just take the word of his wife's court filings. I mean, I guess she's kind of backtracking on that now, but not a good actor. The Democratic Party, it is mind-blowing to me that they've decided the threat to democracy argument did not work. This esoteric, high-level, theoretical argument. You remember Biden in the blood red MAGA speech, you're a clear and present danger, MAGA. Democracy is at threat. The core of our republic's at threat. That didn't work. So let's pivot to due process for illegal immigrants. Not even illegal immigrant children. Due process for guys like Kilmar. Due process for Khalil, who's not a U.S. citizen. This is what they're pivoting to, as if that's going to work. It's not going to work. The Democratic National Committee is no longer such. It is now the Defending Non-Citizens Committee. Change your name, because right now it's malpractice, because you're not the Democratic National Committee. You are defending non-citizens. Try defending Americans, like the pro-life prisoners you put in jail. William Goodman, who didn't have toilet paper for 2 weeks, but the trans inmates got makeup, he told me. Try defending U.S. citizens and see how that works out.
And there's some Democrats who feel like you feel. Mo Alithi, worked for Hillary Clinton, came out, said, I'm pretty sure this is dangerous to make this guy a martyr. Henry Cuellar, with all due respect, when you're talking about bringing somebody back, and I know that they know needs due process, he was in Maryland, you might want to think twice about getting behind this guy. And Greg, do you think it really hurts El Salvador knowing that potentially Illinois could cut them off?
Well, it's scary that Pritzker wants to boycott El Salvador, but it's pretty easy when they don't make Twinkies, cheesesteaks, and honey-baked hams. What else does he buy? It would be nice for him to stop boycotting exercise, is what I'm getting at. His head is so up his ass, mainly because there's so much room, that he's unaware of what he is doing to the party. Look, whenever I hear the phrase due process, I kind of zone out because I'm not a lawyer. But I did some research. Illegals aren't entitled to a full trial or even legal counsel. All they're supposed to do is refute the status that they are illegal. So this is an administrative issue, not a legal one. And deportation is not a punishment. You're not being deprived of liberty or property in a country that you are not entitled to be in. Plus, if you say, he was in danger in El Salvador, you haven't corroborated or proven that. You're buying into a narrative based on NGOs that train people to come up with backstories. Sometimes these backstories don't come up until they're forced to go. They never bring it up before, and then they go, oh no, wait, I'm claiming asylum because I might get killed. That stuff is coached. You know, the courts deemed him MS-13. The claims of danger weren't corroborated. I think the wife's first husband's was frightened that she was dating a gang member. So we all know that this is all based on BS. And it troubles me that I have to even do this research. You know what I mean? I hate it, but I have to learn about this so-called model citizen because they keep bringing it up. But I guess it's good news. Just keep going after the perps. Keep ignoring the victims. You know, you don't care about the victims of crime. You don't care about the victims on college campuses. You don't care about the victims of hate crime hoaxes. You know, keep going. Your party's dead.
So, Dana, the one thing they're saying is he's in danger from a rival gang. Excuse me? Did you say rival gang? Does that mean you're in a gang? So he's worried about getting hurt. But just keep in mind, too, it came out a couple of days ago when they pulled him over and said, we're sending you back to El Salvador. They said, you have a fear for your welfare. He said, no. And by the way, he didn't walk back anything to do with his wife. His wife wrote in her handwriting, printed out everything she did. So she could say whatever she wants now. She was beat up, and I'm sure there's some pictures of her, sadly, of getting banged up. But go ahead, go visit him in prison.
I think that the Democrats, they just fail to, one, watch and listen to, we always give them the warnings of what's happening. And then you look at the slew of poll numbers that are coming out around the 100 days. President Trump's highest numbers, they've come down, all of the numbers have come down just a little bit, but he's still pretty high up there in the polarization that we have. His highest numbers are on deportations, including after 5 weeks of talking about Marilyn, the good father, Garcia from El Salvador. Now, I still wake up every day thinking, surely today's the day that we find out that in the middle of the night, they grabbed him, they brought him back, there's a quick hearing, and then they
hit the like and subscribe button.
That might come, given some hints on that. But here's the thing. The Democrats don't look at the other numbers. President Trump on the economy.
You're right. Other countries don't put up with that crap. I agree with you, Graham. We can't even enter our own country illegally. We can't go into Mexico and jump over the United States border. Even if we're a United States citizen, it's a crime. We have to go through the proper ports of entry.
Jessica, do you think this is the dry hole we're portraying it as, or do you see some benefit for the Democrats continuing to get behind this guy?
Well, there's definitely benefit to it.
Hit the like and subscribe, though, if you
majority of the
do.
emphasis should be on the economy, but if you look at our own latest polling, Fox poll that came out yesterday, Reuters, YouGov, Quinnipiac, now Donald Trump is underwater on immigration, which was his strongest issue. So he's above on the border, right, and deportations, but generally speaking on immigration, he's underwater. 2-to-1 margins in the YouGov poll that Americans think that Abrego Garcia should be brought back here.
Because they're not getting the information.
No, it's not because they're not getting information. What they were able to do, actually, is understand contextually what is going on here. So if it's not just about Abrego Garcia, it is about...
What was the poll question? I guarantee you.
Now you're a pollster?
No, I'm just saying, I guarantee you it was worded in a way to get an intended answer.
I can guarantee you that our own polling that showed him underwater on immigration...
I agree. Poland has great, strong borders.
Policies are too harsh. And whether you think it's Abrego Garcia that's the most important case, or you want to talk about the Turkish PhD student in Boston...
Not him.
Her. That was ripped off the street for writing an op-ed.
What are the pronouns?
Don't do that. I do like it, though, because I know it means that I'm winning and making a compelling argument, but it's about her, or Andre, the gay makeup artist.
Of course.
Or it's about the American...
He's gay, I get it. You always mention that he's gay as if that matters.
Well, it does matter
Can't you
because
be gay
that's why
and be
he
in a
got
gang?
But that's why he got his asylum request approved.
Smash the subscribe button.
Because they don't like people who are gay there.
In a gang.
Andre was not in a gang.
How do you know? I'm going back to my initial point. None of these stories are real.
That's not true. There was an American...
border security gets 55% approval.
We're in immigration, where Brian, I'm not making it up. You know what else? Brett Baer had a beautiful graphic. I might frame it on my wall that had the approval ratings for the last 6 presidents for the first 100 days. Donald Trump is now the lowest. He beat himself. So he was at 45% in the first 100 days of Trump 1.0, and now he's at 44%. His economic ratings have gone down by 20%. The American public don't trust him on cost of living, inflation, all the things he was hired to do. They know the tariffs are a tax on them. The CEOs of Walmart and Target and Home Depot have to go into his office and beg him to stop so that the shelves won't be empty. There are containers coming from China that can't get here because of these tariffs, 145%. Or maybe it's 50%.
What does this have to do with the
It has to
Maryland
do-
dad?
Right.
It has to do with what Trump is doing. And there are all of these GOP appointed judges that are ruling against him, saying a path of perfect lawlessness, brazen example of retaliation.
Put it this way, you're just actually
Don't put it
undoing
the
your
way-
whole point, Jessica.
No, I'm not.
Because they are focusing on this guy who basically
Who
every day
also
they find out.
is-
I don't know
also
how he could be
goes in their
underwater.
favor.
He might be under 50%, but he's not underwater on
Ryan,
immigration.
Fine. Reuters, Yuga, Quinnipiac, just
But he's
honestly,
winning
it's
on
fine.
deportation. You
Okay,
admitted that.
but
Right.
2-1 that this guy should be returned. Listen,
Keep
you're
defending
right.
a gangbanger all you want.
But you're saying
I
they
just
should
said-
emphasize the economy. That's what you're saying.
I understand
She did
that you
say that.
want me to try to unravel everything that I said. The economy is what drives people to the polls. He now only has a 27% rating with Hispanic voters because he's not focused on the economy and their costs haven't gone down.
So are you saying he's going to have a hard time being reelected in 2028?
Right.
Well,
Right.
he's wearing, Eric Trump is wearing a hat that says
Greg,
Trump
this is
2028
very
today,
similar
so-
when Ronald Reagan made titanic changes in the economy. Initially, people panicked.
Donald
and they
Trump
were,
went
and I'm saying,
You did,
but he's actually doing just as titanic
people who
moves.
can afford to
At
sit there
least
and
he's leading
say,
the country. Your
Into the
guy
gutter.
wasn't even present.
We'll see. Big Beautiful Bill is on deck. Meanwhile, coming up, pro-Hamas agitators are pitching tents again as Harvard refuses to compromise with President Trump's crackdown on anti-Semitism. So glad I didn't go to Yale.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.
Well, what do you guys think? Marco Rubio, I don't know about him, honestly. I don't know.
But first, a Wisconsin judge under arrest and facing charges accused of flouting federal law to help an illegal immigrant.
I know, sir, I know. I'm picking up the next video.
Judge Hannah Dugan allegedly helped that migrant avoid arrest by ICE officers at the courthouse. It's a bizarre case and it's still unfolding. Hello, I'm John Roberts in Washington. Sandra, good to see you back again.
All right, and good to be back with you as well, John. I'm Sandra Smith in New York, and this is America Reports. That today's arrest of a judge marks the second such case in the last 24 hours. A former New Mexico judge and his wife were taken into custody yesterday. Federal agents arresting them for harboring a suspected Tren de Aragua gang member in their guest house.
For more on all of this, we are honored to have in the new U.S. Attorney General, Pam Bondi. It's good to talk to you, Pam.
Good to talk to you.
So let me read a little bit from the criminal complaint here. And Judge Dugan says, despite having been advised of the administrative warrant for the arrest of Flores Ruiz, Judge Dugan then escorted Flores Ruiz and his counsel out of the courtroom through the jury door, which leads to a non-public area of the courthouse. A foot chase ensued. The agents pursued Flores Ruiz for the entire length of the courthouse and ultimately apprehended him. According to this complaint, Judge Dugan was visibly angry that ICE was there to arrest Flores Ruiz, even tried to kick the deportation agents out of the courthouse.
Yeah, and to set the stage for you and Sandra, this was truly horrific. This guy was in court being prosecuted by a state prosecutor for domestic violence battery. He had beat up two people, a guy and a girl, hit the guy 30 times, knocked him to the ground, choked him, beat up a woman so badly.
And the Democrats defend him.
You know, it's so rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom
with the state prosecutor, the judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out, she goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom, you're not going to believe this, takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave. While a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom. Wow.
You know, Madam Attorney General, great to have you here, and thanks for coming back on America Report. So we remember these words of Tom Homan, the border czar. This was March 17th, and his message on these judges who apparently are trying to get in the way of this administration's efforts. Listen.
I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
So when you see these judges trying to obstruct your efforts to make this country safer, what is your message to them?
We are going to prosecute you, and we are prosecuting you. I found out about this the day it happened. We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. We looked into the facts in great depth. That's her picture up on the screen, Hannah Dugan, who is now in custody. You cannot obstruct a criminal case, and really, shame on her. It was a domestic violence in all cases, and she's protecting criminal.
Let's get this to 100 likes and hit the like and subscribe button.
There's also this other case coming out of New Mexico. Judge Joel Cano and his wife were arrested for harboring a TDA member at their home.
Homan is a damn savage. You could put a gun to that man's face. He's not going to stop.
And now he and his wife were picked up and arrested. And you say that you believe, as the Attorney General,
you could have Homan's entire family tied up and kidnapped, and that man is not going to back down.
Yeah, that's the judge.
He's going to go even harder, in fact.
Yeah, his name is Ortega. He was is a known TDA member, So he comes through Eagle Pass, December 2023. He's living in our country. January 2025, ICE, they get a tip. Tom Homan's done a great job. Our FBI did a great job on this case, too. They get a tip that he is living with a judge and the judge's wife. So,
outlaw, that is hilarious, guy. That is hilarious. Hey, thank you guys for 100 likes.
Releases him saying that Judge Cano has a good BS meter and wouldn't let just anyone live on his property.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the associations with this violent Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, and this person that they harbored in their home, he was showing signs through clothing, we were told, tattoos. There was evidence through voice messages and text messages of his association to TDA. So what charges will Cano and his wife face, if any?
So Judge Cano, soon to be former Judge Cano, got his charges were just unsealed. He's charged with obstruction. He admitted post Miranda. He took one of the TDA members' cell phones himself, took it, beat it with a hammer, destroyed it, and then walked the pieces to a city dumpster to dispose of it to protect him. The wife also is charged with destroying evidence. Sandra, not only that, this TDA member, and he had on a necklace that said kill, something about death. He had tattoos all over him. He also had on his cell phone pictures of two decapitated victims, decapitated, gruesome photos, and he was sending them out, and whoever he was sending them to was sending back saying, hey, you need to be careful, you shouldn't be sending these, you shouldn't be texting these photos out. Not only that, these two, the judge and his wife, gave him assault rifles that belonged to their daughter. That's what they're charged with. In the criminal report affidavit, he goes to
smash the like and subscribe button if you're new.
These assault rifles with a suppressor with other known TDA members, and they're shooting. This is
these judges committed crimes. Are you crazy, Linda?
Never tolerate a judge or anyone else harboring them.
Let me, if I could, Madam Attorney General, come back to the Wisconsin case and Judge Hannah Dugan, because in allegedly letting the perpetrator and the attorney out through a non-public exit.
I agree, Graham. Once again, my name is also Graham, so that's awesome that you have the same name.
In Colorado, where there would be no transfer of a defendant from a jail to ICE custody on a detainer request in a way that was orderly and protected public safety. They would dump them off in a parking lot, and then ICE would have to chase them around.
You don't need a due process to prove you're not a citizen. The police can look it up when they pull you over.
It says here, a foot chase ensued. The agents, and this was a DEA agent, an FBI agent, pursued Flores Ruiz for the entire length of the courthouse, ultimately apprehended him near the intersection.
We got 4 more likes, but not 4 more subscribers. 5 likes now. Thank you guys, but hit the subscribe button too.
Have a public foot chase, and we all know that, well, sometimes they can come off without incident. They can also turn into very dangerous situations.
We're almost at 3,500 subscribers, so please help me out, guys. Hit the subscribe button.
Officers at risk. She put the lives of citizens at risk. A street chase, which is absurd that had to happen. But yes, she put a lot of people in danger. That judge did it. So did the other judge. Judge Cano is charged with. They were allegedly giving him assault rifles, AK-47s, AR-15s with a suppressor.
Yeah, it's crazy. People on Jan 6, they got almost 4 years in prison. Yet the guy, the illegal immigrant who smashed into a guy's car, drunk and killed 2 kids, got 5 years in California State Prison. He's about to be let out. He got sentenced to 10 years, but he's about to get let out for good time in 5 years. 5 years for a guy who murdered 2 people. Sorry, the camera keeps falling over. Yet 4 years for the Jan 6ers.
And above the law, and they are not. And we're sending a very
Thank you, Harry. Much appreciated.
If you are harboring a fugitive,
I hope you subscribed as well.
If you are helping hide one, if you are giving a TDA member guns.
Yeah, Brian, that's crazy.
We will come after you.
The illegal immigrant only got 5 years for 2 murders.
With this idea, very significant development that you're arresting judges now. Now, it could be that the judges have engaged in terribly bad behavior and deserve
2 murders, 5 years. Growing a plant, 5 years. Ridiculous. Jan 6ers, 4 years. Most of them were peaceful protesters. Only a couple people smashed windows after the police threw tear gas.
No one is above the law in this country. And if you are destroying evidence, if you are obstructing justice, when you have victims sitting in a courtroom of domestic violence and you're escorting a criminal defendant out a back door, it will not be tolerated, and it is a crime in the United States of America. Doesn't matter who you are, you're going to be prosecuted.
Madam Attorney General, great to see you in the studio.
Great to see you.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
I'm Steve Ducey.
Should we look up the illegal immigrants? The illegal immigrant that smashed into a guy's car and killed him and his wife, and he only got 5 years in California State Prison. He's about to be let out. Should we look that up? He's being let out on good time. Meanwhile, people got more time for literally a bunch of other crimes that hurt literally nobody.
Right now, Democrats are in the wilderness. As I point out that in 1972 and 1984, they managed to spin the party down to a single state out of 50. So it is possible that
Yeah, that's crazy, Graham. That's crazy.
Back into the center and continues to take on kind of left-wing policies. It's very clear that people looked back on the Biden administration and said, you know what, he really wasn't.
Democrats amidst party mistake made big mistake on MS-13. Sorry, I read that wrong.
Competent to be president. I'm not even sure he was president. And Biden's numbers went into the tank.
Well, your husband Graham sounds like a good man. I have the same name, so.
That was seen as creating inflation, leaving an open border, and all of these other things that in retrospect nobody really favored outside of the left wing of the Democratic Party.
That was Mark Penn, Democratic strategist who worked with the Clintons. I think he's really balanced.
Me either, Brian. Me either.
Yes, Congressman Democrat, pro-life, Texas, 28th district. The Democrats have a good time always trying to primary and get him out. And the people love him and they want him to stay. Congressman, welcome back.
Hey, thank you so much for having me again. I hope you're doing fine and happy Friday.
Hey, Congressman, I was able to go to NORAD for a feature I'm doing and talk to them and their role they're playing in securing the border. And I thought of you because you had all these
Pepsi
great
Warren
ideas
is
about how to
Warren
secure the
Buffett's
border
corporation
respectfully and
name.
responsibly. And no, Barack Obama didn't want to hear from you. Joe
All right,
Biden
that's
didn't
pretty
want to hear
cool.
from you. I have no idea why. But now give me an idea from Henry Cuellar's perspective. What is the border like?
Well, certainly, if you look at some of the latest CBP numbers, the crossings in March are the lowest southwest border crossings that we've had in history. So I got to give kudos to the administration because they're able to do several things. One, they got the countries like Mexico, Panama, and other countries to stop people before they're coming in. Then at the border, they stop the catch and release. The policies are important. And they implemented the right policies. And second of all, you got to be able to use the military, not to do law enforcement, but they can certainly provide intelligence and birds, aircraft to provide a lot of intelligence and so many other things. So having that right mixtures of playing defense outside the 1 yard line called the U.S. border, that is working with those countries, having the right policies at the borders, no catch and release, and finally having the right mixture of the military working with Homeland Security. So kudos to the administration on border security.
Right. So I understand the military is playing a role. They took some land that was part of the Secretary of the Interior's division, and they said, okay, military, you can use it and set up on it. And they're really concerned about the cartels and the coordinations as well as the crossing, while sending the message, don't sell your life savings. Don't give up your life savings. Don't get rid of your house and come. This is not the time. How is the military
All right, last video, guys.
working?
Smack the like and subscribe button.
Yeah, it's more than
Holman is
symbolism.
awesome.
I met with the military here in Laredo. They're down here, and they're good people, good men and women. They're doing the work. So what they're doing is, for example, that land that you're talking about, I thought it was a smart way, the way they did it. They said the military is going to take over. Once they take that over, then the military can play a role in detaining and, of course, handing the folks over to border security, to Homeland Security. So, again, it's not just having the military doing support staff like, sitting behind a joystick watching cameras. No, actually using the skills that
Sean
the military
Holman
has to supplement what a border patrol can do.
So I also hear with the wall, they said the wall's big, but these guys will try to get over it. And then they
Donnie
put
Holman.
concertina wire up there, and they still they throw a blanket over it. They try to use it. And now
Tom Holman, all great men,
with a way of using the concertina wire on the other side. So they know if they get to the other side, it's still waiting for them as they go to drop. And it's been unbelievably effective as a deterrent. Have you seen any of this?
We don't have a wall in Laredo. Without due respect, we still feel that a wall is a 14th century solution in this area. But I can tell you this.
Oh, not this weirdo again.
By having the right policy.
Any Satan worshiper with Satan in his name, I'm kicking out of the chat again. Bye-bye.
River roads. Border Patrol want those river roads. So
aha, we have a Russian agent in the chat. I knew you were a Russian agent, sweetie pie.
Border Patrol. But the most important thing is do not do catch and release. And I can tell you, I was talking to Border Patrol yesterday. The morale is up because they feel that the administration has their back. And when the Border Patrol's morale goes up, then that is good for border security along the border.
You were always telling me about messaging. Show me the video of people being sent back, because that ripples through Central and South America, and who knows, China for a while was coming out, all these other countries. And now we're seeing a lot of the turnaround. How much of that has to do with the traffic being less, and how much is it Mexico sincerely trying to enforce their southern border?
Well, certainly President Trump put the pressure on Mexico to do more to stop fentanyl. And of course, we've seen all those criminals that they sent over to the U.S. to be tried here. Fentanyl has slowed down. But
Absolutely, Redneck. I agree.
So the president.
All right, guys. I think this is it for today. Everyone hit the like and subscribe button. The stream is over, but we'll be back again tomorrow or soon. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Have a good Saturday, and peace out, everybody. Joe DeFilippo, Vance 2028. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Hit the like and subscribe button. Trump and Vance.
Gauge a lot more if you can get them to play.
All right, 2 more minutes.
Under 20-yard line instead of our 1-yard line called the U.S. border, then the better it is. So using that pressure and not doing any stop and release, the right policy, but more importantly, images. I could not get the prior administration to do that. In fact, somebody at the White House told me, no, we don't want to do that because we don't want to aggravate our advocates.
Peace out, Harry. Everyone spam the subscribe button.
They were putting the immigration advocates above.
All right, that's it for today. Thanks, everybody. Peace out. Subscribe, like, comment. Check out my other videos. Euro and Travel on TikTok. Euro and Travel on X. Check out my X account. Go follow me there. I'll follow you back. Peace out.